body move. Jiffy show, Jiffy show, Jiffy show crew. If I didn't let my body move.
Your customers expect to buy what they want, how they want. So you need a commerce platform that's flexible, customizable, and crazy fast. Shopify Plus is built to handle the complexity of your business, so you can focus on your brand and deliver a seamless customer experience across every device, country, and channel. Save time by turning manual tasks into powerful automated workflows. Target key markets with local currencies and unlimited storefronts. Increase conversion with personalized shopping and checkout experiences. And sell out in seconds, knowing we won't hold you back. Partner with the best commerce platform.
You mean the lobby? You mean us casters? Both. All right, then. There we are. It's a little different than usual, but welcome to day 2, right? Is it day 2 of the Kasa World Tour?
That it is. Of course, I'm actually going to be here for map 1. This time we've got Masaneva on the sticks. Of course, Chris going to be joining me on the microphone.
Greetings.
And we've got Jade behind the ones and zeros, making sure everything gets going as quickly as possible. Of course, our two teams, I believe we've got Kasa Hivemind taking on Lupine.
You can Lupine.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first matchup for today. A little bit of a changed timeline. We're going to start on Lijiang Tower. Hivemind, of course, pretty much the big favorite. Also the home team here, in front of quote-unquote home crowd. I know it's a little different than usual because unfortunately what you're seeing now is going to be a recording. We do not have a stream provider, but of course, we don't want to let this fantastic game go to waste. So we're going to cast that anyways, and Lijiang Tower is the first. We're going to have Gardens, and as you can see, both teams opt for something rather typical on Gardens. We see a dive.
Yeah, we saw this Pharah Mercy comp yesterday coming out from Lupine. That means that Hivemind will have also seen this. They can come up with a bit of a counter comp if they want. This Echo is a pretty comfortable matchup into Lil Tuna, but still, without that Mercy pocket, Hasa has to watch themselves.
You play the Kiriko and Lucio around the Lucio, but around your Winston, but it goes very quick as Hivemind just takes the gas and just goes in pretty deep. Last for Mercy also jumps off the map. There's nothing left of Lupine. We were just talking about it. Would you look at that? They just press down the throttle and just run them over. No chance so far for the sport team of Lupine, but hey, that's just the first percentage right now gained, so there's a lot of time still to come back.
That was a brilliant hit now, and instantly the swaps come over into the full mirror. With the momentum on the side of Hivemind, though, I'm curious to see if that was actually a judicious choice or not.
Instant goes in again, but nothing gained from that. Reset up. Now they tried to dive something down, but it doesn't happen. A little Tuna falls down. That's like the second environmental kill, but in all that chaos, we have a trade going on, but with Fury dead, oh, actually, Simon gets traded out as well, so no Kiriko's available for either team. But Red, great tracking here. tries to get the kill onto Solo, will just try to surf around, but no chance. He got sticky onto the Winston, who will survive though with his bulky HP, but not for long, as there's way too much damage pumped into that. And Lupine, there you go. That's what we have been talking about. The first team fight, well, whatever, dust it off and get back into it. They dropped 43% and now get percentage of their own.
Ult's coming up a lot closer, though, for the aggressors now. This beat of Soul is the biggest tool, but almost everything's over the horizon, bar the Pulse Bomb. That pick, though, onto Hasa from Lil Tuna, just going to buy them time. And UK and Lupine are going all the way to spawn.
That is quite aggressive. They almost tried to touch the spawn door here. Cinnamon as well is going to be picked off here by this aggression, but they play it very disciplined. They don't overextend. They keep it fresh. They keep it easy. Go back. Just wait it out. They are the ones holding the point right now, so have all the time in the world waiting for the setup of the enemy team of Hive Mind, who's now going in. Little Tuna is immediately going to pull out the copy, though in the middle of the Kitsune rush, needs to get out there, but lots of pressure onto Cinnamon, who will get finished off again. Copy will be kicked out of Little Tuna. Now with a beat, though, available, there's going to be a little bit of stability gained for Hive Mind, but do they secure any kills? They do. Curie is already dead here, and look at them dropping low. Red's still alive, though, with a few HP, but Throne is there to mark the enemy Tracer. Secures his 2-piece, and that's going to be the team of Lupine gets sent back to the drawing board. But at least, well, they can be happy with this team fight so far, 65% at least. But back to Hive Mind now.
Yeah, plenty of back and forth action so far between both these teams. This Kitsune of Curie is what I'm definitely watching the most. Bol's going to have to disrupt it with the Primal Rage, else they can just take all the space that the Kitsune clears essentially for free.
Pulse bombs getting ready for both Tracers. Let's Mercy also with that. Oh my, the Kitsune rush. We have been talking about that, and would you look at that ball? Didn't even have to use any Primal Rage whatsoever, but Soul is dead as well here. So they trade out supports each other. Again, Ball the tanks just having fun on Gardens right here. Look at another kill for the tanks. It's just them on the kill feed, but no, Ball will be the one taking out his counterpart. Why? And Kasa, Hive Mind, they still have this point. They win this team fight, and it's going to be a little bit of desperation for the team of Lupine.
I can't lie. I was really disappointed by that Kitsune rush. The placing was pretty poor, honestly, and obviously the timing wasn't ideal as well. Last fight here, that's one ultimate they'd love to have.
Already in position to trigger overtime. Cinnamon drops again very low, but even then, still get the kill here. Both Kiriko straighted out, so even in this dive, they're the most acceptable target. Hasa gets less for Mercy. That means no more supports available for the team of Lupine, and Nightmare just needs to go in for the cleanup and get the necessary kills to finish off the round. They're gonna do just that. Gardens finished in a bang. And what a fantastic game to kick off here. Lupine being, well, on paper at least, the underdog. They are absolutely having some teeth.
But Hive Mind's the one who closed it out in the end. They seemed very confident for most of that. Obviously, they didn't have that one slip up there. But other than that, I did love the way they were playing the game. I do think that because we've seen so much of this Mercy style out of UK and Lupine, they're going to struggle anytime they're forced off of it. And I don't think they're going to be trying it many more times now. Heading here onto Market. Again, it's more of a favorable kind of area of the map, I would argue. You know, it's kind of harder for an Echo to mark you because of these longer sightlines. But they're going towards something a little bit strange. If Curie wants to play this Ana, they can. But that would just get punished by any sort of dive. The mirror not going to be coming out, though. This Rhine comp, I mean, we've got a perfect counter comp now from UK and Lupine.
Yeah, with a Pharah, of course, in the air, marking everyone, poking, you usually have a good time here. But Red's already dead, so lots of pressure already gone. Little Tuna gets hit here, but goes into the backline. But of course, that is why Throne has been picking this Cassidy. Just a great brawl hero, fits nicely into a composition, but is also quite the nuisance for any aerial hero if you have a capable player behind that mouse and keyboard. And it seems to be the case for Throne. Gonna be the first point percentage now for Hive Mind here on Night Market.
A pretty poor start, unfortunately. It's a great compositional matchup, but it doesn't work if you're just giving Throne 1v1s to take and win. So hopefully next time we can see a little bit more team play, a little bit more concerted pressure coming through at the same time to allow some of these picks to actually come through.
And play patiently right now. Lupine just waiting for the setup. They need to choose a target, though, to really dive. They should have plenty. But Curie, we're talking about that as one of the most acceptable targets in that composition. Still Hive Mind, up one. So, the Tuna is pokings being a nuisance, but just that, just a nuisance, not really a threat. There's not much happening here from the part of the Pharah. The Hive Mind just way too stable.
If your tank line is committing, then as a Pharah, you also need to be committing. There's just no point sitting there and playing like your Widowmaker, because that's just not the hero you're on. No two ways about it. This kind of pokey, slow playstyle is fine when that's what the rest of your team is doing. But so far, Lil Tuna has somewhat struggled to find too much value. Barrage now online. Maybe this can change fortunes.
No, the shield was gone there, but good lamp will keep everyone alive. Lil Tuna will at least get back into life thanks to this rest. And now with a beat, try to rush out. Maybe Red will be falling. Nope. Gets out of Throne's crosshair. And again, they need to get out. Lupine now with a try here. The White goes in deep. Wants some pressure and actually gets, again, nothing done. Look at that sustain. Look at how smart they do this. The team play is just not there. They're not really diving the right targets either. Just Y went in and just tried to challenge Ball, which is not the target you're going for. Hive Mind is in such a great lead. And look at the ultimates as well. They're sitting on 4 ultimates.
That's the weirdest Valk timing I've ever seen. I don't see what value you're ever getting from it. And now they've got last fight territory. The ult's going to expire before the actual fight comes through.
It's so painful to watch, but now there's the Doomfist. They really tried that. Nano's gonna be deployed here. Cinnamon immediately wipes Y off the face of the earth. Pulse bomb attempt immediately countered here, but Lil Tuna gets a 2-piece here. Both supports are dead, but he can't touch. Red is too late. Red is too late.
There was 3 people alive, guys. That is a C9.
That
there's
is a C9,
spaghetti
yeah.
all over the floor. I mean, UK and Lupine really struggling here. I honestly do want to kind of class this more as them losing to themselves than Hivemind winning, who I think kind of just sat there and didn't really do anything. They didn't have to, though, because, Lupine were kind of just, tripping over their own shoelaces, for lack of a better word. We spoke about it before, but it's the kind of strange target focus, strange engaged timings. I mean, that barrage long range from the absolute floor, that's not how you use the ultimate. And of course, the C9 in the end to kind of put the cherry on top of things. A really, really sloppy Overwatch from UK and Lupine. I'd very much expect for them to be able to play better, and I think they would too.
Oh, Ebroth will be pulling out his hair right now, but well, I remember a photo seeing him bald, but I'm not entirely sure, so please correct me. But, well, figuratively speaking, he's been pulling his hair out here, but at least they can say they have a shot at Hive Mind, because on paper, this team has been playing so long together, 2 years already of history in this team. I still remember them in Kasa Invitation. I've been casting it just like you did, and it's cool to see this team being back at it. And, well, to me, those were pretty much the favorites. Those were the Goliaths to really play out. And I have to say, Lupine on Gardens really made a great figure. They had a few fantastic team fights there. And well, on another day, maybe they win this. But I agree with you on Night Market. It was really sloppy. The team was not really on the same page. You have the slow pace from Lil Tuna. Then Wyatt doesn't really have a great dive target. Really, everyone is together because it's just brawl. And yeah, this barrage, high risk, high reward. I mean, if you secure the 2-piece, great, you become the hero of the round. But with that lamp, there's just not much to get here, and thus we look at a rather disappointingly junk tower. But it's not over yet. 1-0 for Hive Mind, and the next map is already locked in. As you can probably see, it's Paraíso.
Paraíso is a pretty fair choice. I think we got to see it a little bit yesterday. In terms of how it's going to play, it's pretty standard, all things considered. First point. In fact, the entire map is just going to be very focused around that verticality and being able to access those high grounds, kind of make or break of what compositions become viable on a map like Paraíso. And I mean, for both these teams, we've seen that, so I wouldn't expect to see any real change up. Probably the Echo, probably the Pharah from both these sides. Monkey Mirror seems all but a guarantee. I do not mind the Ana that we've been seeing out of Curie. I think they can stick with that if they want. I think that they have been finding a nade and nano value when those also actually come through. But it will also be a very rough time of things, realistically being the dive target against a team as competent as Hivemind. So comps locked in as of now. Yeah, the red Ash, we have seen this before, I believe yesterday, and it was impressive enough. I really don't mind this choice at all. You've got Les for Mercy, who's going to be on the Brigitte, protecting the Ana. A lot of ranged poke pressure here. The dive's not going to be as strong as their counterparts, though. One thing I'm slightly worried about, actually, will be Throne, who doesn't really have a bad matchup among the 5 players on the side of UK and Lupine. So this will have basically free pathing into the objective, pretty free duels should he be able to get in. And if they can't find a way to mitigate with this Tracer, then it might just be the end of them.
Yeah, the high ground is so crucial, which is the reason why we see a more pokey approach of UK and Lupine, because you can just use the map geometry on point just to your advantage, and that is what they're going to be doing. Hivemind will be basically invited close to point, but then you have to somehow clear the high grounds, which is what they have to do here. But Ball immediately dropping low, gets a Suzu here early just to stay alive and dandy. And Y will be a little aggressive here in front. Cinnamon drops extremely low, and Ball is already dead here thanks to Red. That's what we have been talking about. They just used this defensive setup, and so far, Hivemind is struggling with it, but it's just the first team fight. See if there are any adjustments, but I would say there aren't even any necessary right now.
Yeah, you've got a while still. Because you've got a low healing comp into a high damage comp like this, it means that you have to be very, very careful with when and how you take damage. And unfortunately, Ball got burned down there a little bit faster than I think they were expecting. We'll see a reset coming through, of course, now. But as you mentioned, you don't need to change comps just yet. Oh, nice headshot, but won't matter in the end. Just going to be a stable and then begin taking space again, I expect, from Hivemind.
Well, Tuna already opening that one up. Ball is already in very deep. Cinnamon doesn't have a Suzu here. Little Tuna is just so bloodthirsty and goes after him. Ball is also dead in Hivemind. Back to the drawing board again. We have been talking about this little momentum Lupine had first on Gardens, and it seems that they have picked that back up. Almost 90 seconds off the clock, and look at the ultimates. Look at how scary that looks. At least Kasa is going to have the copies. So is Little Tuna, though. Other than that, lots and lots of advantage for that team of Lupine.
I think we actually saw why body blocked the cleanse that was intended for Bull there. You're going to have to go back in the replay code to check, but oh my god, a monkey juke this early.
Goes in, Lil Tuna, of course, putting in so much pressure. Both copies actually, of course, invested onto the tank here. Lil Tuna, though, will be chased down by Ball. You get that kill, but you trade out Throne, so at least there is some merit in it. And you get that Primal Rage, but it gets immediately shut down. But I think it is actually the timer running out here. Nano's got to be applied, though, onto Y. Will go hunting down targets, but the loose is just pinned on the wall, getting all the Kirko heal in the world, and he won't fall over. Y is just trying his hardest, but he can't do anything. It's so sad to watch. But it doesn't matter in the end. They have to pull back. There's not really any space advantage here for Hivemind.
Yeah, the respawns came through, so you didn't have those numbers either to work with. Your upside is you got out some of the big tools from your opponents, but if you're going to keep hemorrhaging frags like this, that really doesn't matter in the end. We've got to see a clean up of play, I think, from Hivemind here, because it's just sloppy. No two ways about it. These kills are going to come through, of course. Having the Bob, the Rally, and the Primal means that this next fight might even be a non-starter, and down to a minute left to go. Soul, not having charged up his first beat yet, I'm really not enjoying how we're playing yet. They've really struggled to get in. They've really struggled to scale effectively. Would love to see a heavy stack of kind of players moving towards the right side of the map to go up the stairway. Because so far, it's just been one player, just been the monkey diving the high ground and getting shut down because of it.
Suzu again had to be invested early here, otherwise you lose here. But Y goes in deep, realizes how low he drops, but immediately gets healed up, and Cinnamon is trapped there, so Kasa not looking too fancy. Around 30 seconds left, and lots of ultimates for this team of Kasa when they come back, and that is potentially some good news. But Lupine, they have enough resources to stay alive here in the fight. What do you really do? Never forget, we're also playing this first to 2, so this would be a match point for Hivemind, but at the moment, it rather looks like the equalizer, but we'll see it pan out. 10 more seconds to go. There's going to be a touch coming in. Of course, they're sitting on the high ground here. And there's going to be the sleep, though. The Kitsune Rush from Hivemind, they, of course, want so deeply onto this high ground, and they're going to do just that.
Oh, I got worried there for a second. I thought they wouldn't be able to get on the objective. The action is still going on. It's going to get a little bit testy as Lil Tuna finds a double kill. But surely that's not enough. Surely with the just bodies that Hivemind have online, they've been able to extend play here. Lil Tuna's going to fight for it. So is Y, but that's one player taken down, and Lil Tuna finding a frag, but can't stay on the objective. 2.5 extra minutes on the time bank. But Chris, that came so damn close. Just it takes a clutch out in the end. I do like the Kitsune on the high ground combined with the duplicate, but realistically, we should have seen that 2 minutes earlier.
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing. I mean, look at the top right. All the check marks are gone. HiveMind has invested so much into this, but now they are in the second point. Ball is already quite deep. Look at him go. His hitbox is a little bit too big, but he gets out just barely. 20 HP before he got a little bit of healing. And is Ball gonna swap? Is he really gonna take that swap? Yes, it's gonna be the Reinhardt.
What?
Okay, we're cooking. We're cooking, chat. There's gonna be a freaking brawl on Paraíso's second point. Well,
What the hell are you doing? I don't know. I've never seen this before in my life. The Rhine scaling on this point is atrocious. You see how hard it is to get anywhere without your shield just getting obliterated. And when the dives come through, unless you pin the monkey, you can't really do anything. Yeah, Cinnamon Roger's going to get naded. Your rotations are just so tricky, especially because you're playing this comp without any sort of utility hero, like a Symmetra, like a Mei. I mean, I am absolutely gobsmacked here, Chris. I don't see the vision.
what to say even? What to say? It really looks like they want to confuse Lupine somehow, but they can't really get that. The brawl is an interesting idea, but right now they have to come up with a plan here, HiveMind, because they don't have much time left, and they need something to run down, which is usually going to be the backline here, but oh, little Tuna, gonna use that copy just to stay alive, quite literally, because then you get thrown down to 10 HP.
Oh my god.
To the wall, just absolutely smacked, but you lose Kasa on the way, so it's gonna be the Echo straight out. Then on to Y, who goes deep. The murderous monkey goes onto Cinnamon and will secure the kill. So again, that is the issue. You don't really have anything to counter this dive. You have been talking about the utility. They could even talk about a Reaper or a Bastion. Something that is either anti-dive or just gives you spatial advantage. But they have to do it fast because we're down to 17 seconds.
I mean, they've got the dupe, they've got the beat. A pulse one might come through as well. And, you know, to their credit, there's not crazy ultimates online for the opposition, but you can't stop them from free firing from you on the high grounds.
Copy is already taken out. Red looking for something. Kiori is already dead here. That is good news for the likes of HiveMind. Can they clutch it up again? Maybe. Little Tuna is dead here, but there's going to be the bomb thrown in. Also with the beat here for HiveMind, there should be enough stability to actually push this through. What is happening? The overtime magic is hitting out here, but we still see less for Mercy. Just with that brick going in aggressive, trying to fish for something on Y is back here with a Prime Rage. Pulse bomb attempt does not get anything done. Hasa has to swap to something fast, goes onto the Psalm Robert Ball, drops so very low, it is going to get burnt down by Little Tuna, and there you go. HiveMind, after all of this, they go down in flames. Such a good shot there in the end. They could have potentially turned it around with 1 or 2 kills more, but it's not going to be it. HiveMind is going to be stopped here in their tracks. At least more than 100 meters pushed, but that was a really, really wonky one here on Paraíso so far.
Yeah, it was incredibly strange. I don't really know what else to call that there. I mean, like I said, I've never seen a Rhine switch here. And the chief reason because of that, or why that is, sorry, is because there's so many high grounds, which are so pivotal. Obviously, we see this kind of Anna, Brig, Ashe core playing on that back high ground, and there's basically no way of accessing that as a Reinhardt without a Symmetra teleporter. Obviously, you can use the kind of a ramp to get up to the main building, but it's so much easier just to monkey jump it rather than go for this whole 10-second rotation. That's so much time off the bank. And obviously, we see how many go buttons as well this dive has. Anytime they hit an Echo Sticky, they can dive. Anytime they hit an Ashe Dynamite, they can dive. Anytime they hit an Anti-Nade, they can dive. So they have so much go while all this rotation is happening, which just doesn't need to be given over. Final fight, it comes close enough, but forcing so many ults early on in the attack to try and force a frag means that anytime the respawns come through, they just have a better ult economy. Sigma defense, which we're seeing now out of HiveMind, I don't mind at all. I think it can be a little bit brittle, so it's very much on Bowl to not make any sort of mistakes here. But if they do, it might be a bit of a roadblock that we see their opponents struggle to overcome.
Red. Oh, that would have been a feisty start onto Hasa if you did that pop shot, but Red is going to swap back. And it's going to be probably the Ashe. Yeah, there you go. That is the Ashe. A little bit more of a safer pick here. And as you've been saying, the Dynamite, of course. Great utility here to set up a dive for Y, who is already looking to set up here. Poke a little bit of the shield. Make sure that ball feels very uncomfortable already on the high ground. And there's the shield already gone. So Lots of pressure already. And Y will take that high ground gladly away from the Sigma ball. Needs to drop back. But who's dropping his little tuna here thrown? We'll see that little exposure of the Echo in front. And picks up the kill. And that's going to reset Lupine for now.
Yeah, plenty of time here. I would like to see an attempt at a crunch, actually. If you can find some exit kills here, it'd be so lovely for you. But Bull takes a smidge too much damage. Nade doesn't connect. And it's going to be a reset from both sides here.
Kasa still has lots of control. Waiting for Little Tuna to come back, who is also back. Y will take a different angle here to jump onto the high ground. That's crucial that you do that. But Thrown already has been deadly here against the kill. What a bird from Red, though! Oh, Thrown and Cinnamon, both are dead. But look at Y just being so close to death and will be actually finished off by Ball. And Hasa is one. Red again. That's going to be the 3-piece, but Red will get that rock into the face. And will be finished off here. What a chaos. And now it's a question of who has the better spawns. And of course, we know who that is. Lupine should be fast. And it should be eager to take this point away from Hivemind.
Yeah, huge mistake there from Cinnamon, not dropping. Obviously, Soul gets booped down from the high ground by the monkey jump. And because of that, there's no nade, no healing to keep that player alive. Ball's focus down. Could be the first to fall.
Oh, Ball, that is so crucial. Little Tuna's on top, just binding pretty much 3 people to him on again. What a burn! It's so nasty what Red is doing here. The dynamites are just too tasty. And Lupine bringing themselves into the position, sitting in the saddle quite firm to get this first point under the belt.
It has to be an ironclad defense of the second area of the map. They really don't have much meterage to give up. Maybe 100. They've got maybe 2 fights here. And if they go for a comfortable fight, they'll have just 1. You know, combine that with the ults of their opponents, and you are in for a recipe for disaster here. 4-minute hold going to be required. Hivemind, all the work in the world to do, and just not the tools to do it.
Oh boy, that's gonna be... Look at the check marks, and of course the ults are gonna come online. We have 2 witches, bro. They're not gonna enjoy their time here. But in all that chaos, we still see Hasa also whipping out that Winston, getting a kill here, but is now trapped in front with a very angry Red, who doesn't hit the shot though because he also ran out of bullets. But Y has been very good there in the backline, has been feisty, getting a few kills. Thrown is away, so Red should have free sidelines to really engage. And look at that, they need to get back onto point, but Bob is going to be there already to stall. Do they even get into a position here? Hasa gets hit, but will just barely avoid the laser here before getting nanoed. And Ball tries that with a Sig-9, but there's nothing there. The Flux went nowhere. Hasa in no position to get a kill here. Red gets the kill finally onto Hasa, but they lose Little Tuna in front. It's an absolute chaos and bogus in front, but the rally of Less for Mercy will get the job done. Cinnamon falls already. Ball will be under so much pressure, and there's so many damage sources that he cannot sustain against. Y, and in the end, Curie will take the kill, but Y falls here anyways, but it doesn't matter. UK and Lupine will punch back. They were down on Lijiang Tower, but they didn't stay there. They came back swinging, and they will secure themselves the equalizer against Hivemind and send us to map 3.
I am absolutely baffled by what I've just seen here. I mean, I don't understand. I'm going to be real with you. We see the side of Hivemind. They win on the monkey mirror first point in Lijiang, right? And then when we come to the most monkey map, why am I seeing attacking Reinhardt comps on second point? I don't get it. Of course, it is going to be Hivemind's map pick as we head into number 3. Their options for push are going to be Coliseo, NQS, Esperanza. I mean, depending on what they want to play, all of these are, valid choices. But what do they want to play? Are they going to continue trying to force like Brian Styles, or are they just going to go back to what actually found them their victory? Only time, of course, will tell. I gotta say though, if this was the team I was coaching, I would have to say that decisions like that have to come down to like tilt, right?
I'm not sure. I would even say, maybe they have the feeling that they can't really match the dive. Like, it's really weird. I mean, right now we saw what actually happened there. They really took so much effort to even get first point on their dive. But it's really weird, because on Gardens, on Lijiang Tower, it looked quite fine, no? I mean, of course, we have been praising that Lupine team for being so vicious on Lijiang Tower, which was a dive mirror. But overall, it didn't look bad for Hivemind. I'm a little surprised they didn't stick to this dive. That really boils down to me that they don't really feel that comfortable on the dive and have the feeling that they can't really match it, so they have to whip something out of out of their sleeves that is not really written down in any textbook and just try a Rhine comp on Paraíso. I wouldn't exactly say it's tilt. I think they really wanted to surprise the enemy, which just didn't work because, a Rhine on Paraíso is just not a feasible tactic. Or the Rhine comp, rather, the entire comp, not just the Rhine himself. It's really weird. But we see already the next map pick is locked in. It's going to be Esperanza, chosen by Hivemind. The ready check goes through. And, well, let's see how this one goes. It's going to be the decider between these two teams, Lupine or Hivemind. Who will emerge victorious?
Only time will tell, of course. And we will find out in just a little bit as we begin loading into the lobby about now Esperanza, a map with these kind of middle range sight lines. Again, it's super hard to Rhine here. The rotations are diabolical because it's just so kind of wide open. It felt so much off the map, so many high grounds as well, where you can get kind of crossfired off, angled off of. And so I would very much expect not to see that. A Diva would be a viable pick here. If you want to continue playing that Monkey, that would be strong enough as well. I want to say I'm not sure exactly what they're going to play. I think, from the side of UK and Lupine, it seems pretty standard to go towards their kind of Echo comp, their Monkey comp. That's where they found all of their success. Of course, with a push as a game mode, Lucio is going to be essentially a necessity. So any team going without a Lucio is going to have a huge disadvantage, especially when it comes to first fight, any sort of retaking fights. So that's something we're going to have to see. That's something we're going to have to see, definitely, out of UK and Lupine. They have no Lucio. They're going to be giving up a lot of space for free. The Malga comp, I see why you'd go towards it, but it's super easy to poke out. So all we have to see from the side of Lupine is just play slow until there is no more cardiac overdrive, and then any sort of engage, Bull will essentially be a spectator in.
I find that very funny that Ball will come out on the Mauga because, honestly, I was already smelling it. I had that feeling. Because if you can't beat a dive in a dive mirror and also not in a brawl, and we're not going to talk about poke, you go anti-dive. Well, who is the absolute representative of that? Well, it's Mauga, of course. So, of course, gonna get poked out a lot, but you can't just anchor point, just play it safe and poke out the enemy because you're not gonna have any pressure onto the tank, but the tank will have a lot of pressure on you as Red already realizes that, gets immediately killed by Hasa, and Hasa secures another one onto Curie. That is what we're talking about here. Of course, with the Mauga, they play a whole different style here, one of the fastest brawls that you can really play. That is not really a brawl, really. It could rather be a dive here, but so far they have been absolutely mowed down. I wonder if there's going to be some adjustments. Well, as you can see, yes, there will be.
I don't think they had to make adjustments, to be honest, but if they want to because of comfort, then fair enough to them. Sombra is a pretty good matchup into the Malga. Neutral game is pretty middling, but having the EMP to fully cancel out the cage is a great pendulum swing in any fight where both ultimates are online. That's a great matchup to have, and we'll have to wait and see if it comes out mattering. We just need to see a little bit less sloppiness from the DPS of Lupine, I think, if they want to find a victory here.
Oh, Soul falls here. That's the loser gone. It's not going to be great for the backline. A great hack from Red. And the shot to the head onto Hasa will secure the thing here. So far, the adjustments looking quite feisty here. Red will be chased down, but it doesn't matter because, of course, you are in the middle of your team. You hit that virus as well. And now you have all the strings in your own hand. Ball just trying to fight, of course, here, but there's not much to gain from this. So the adjustments already fantastic. The loser to speed people around, to maybe disengage, to keep your Anna Curie alive. And also, Red, you have talked about it. The EMP gonna be so good to cancel out that cage. And Red has already charged that up way faster than Ball could get close to his first cage.
Yeah, nano engage for this next fight means that, again, as long as they get that E out, they should have essentially a free fight win. Why wants to posture early, and I don't think he needs to, but I think it's going to get the job done well enough. This rotation is so tricky.
Ball will go a little bit deep. Hasa with that barrage here onto the backline. Curie's dead here, red as well. So again, Hasa taking this to their own, and there's going to be a Kitsune Rush as well. Okay, Ball. I see. I see he's going to use that Kitsune Rush, of course, but that was a little bit of an overcommitment, no? I mean, Kasa should have had this already while is running for the hills here, but they still commit this for some reason. But it doesn't matter. Should
It's
be
not the end
fine,
of the
right?
world, I think. Yeah, it shouldn't
No,
matter
no.
too much. I will say they do need to split Soul here. If Soul gets caught in the EMP, that's going to make this fight borderline impossible. If he can beat it, though, then it becomes a lot easier.
No. And was
He
it?
apexes.
Oh, was it an Atrix? Oh, that beat is gone. And would you look at that? Lupine goes in and swipes everyone away. No chance for them. Oh my, that is quite painful. That is really painful. And Hasa has enough of the Pharaoh. We see so many tries to make this Pharaoh work, and there is some momentum you can gain, but once you lose it, you just default back to the Echo. There's just no way you can get really back into it once the team really adjusted to you.
Yeah, it's really tricky. Now you've lost the beat. You now have no counter to the EMP. You have no counter to the Primal. This should be a basically free fight win for Lupine here.
Pick out Hasa, but also Lil Tuna's dead here. But now with Throne dead, you lose so much firepower here. They should just run it down mid here. It seems like Ball, of course, will stay alive. There's just too much beef on that Mauga. Well, almost quite literally. You can't really kill him, but you force him back because you won't get anything killed without his DPS helping him out. So there's that, and of course, Red is going to be very disciplined. Just keep that EMP for whenever Ball has any plans to whip out that cage.
Yeah, they're just wasting. They're being so passive with it. They really want to play this counter style, but instead they just want to flatten him.
Okay, I think, well, Red got low-key baited here. EMP is going to be invested because it really looked like Ball was about to use that cage. Didn't use it in the end, still has it, but that team fight is in the books, so you will at least gain a formidable advantage over your enemy, and you will still have forward spawns for quite a while.
Yeah, I guess you're going to need Ana cooldowns then to counter out the cage. You don't really have any other tools for it, bar a truly gargantuan duplicate coming through from Lil Tuna. Still not the end of the world, though. They can just go early and find a pick, as they've been doing so consistently.
Tuna with a copy, lots of pressure here onto Ball, no chance for him to survive, and look at that, Lupine on the tracks here. Close to maybe reverse sweeping the Sirius. Another kill here. That copy of Lil Tuna was so tasty, so feisty, and look at that. The advantage is growing, and Hive Mind is slowly but surely running out of steam, but they have still a few trumps up their sleeves. Hasa still has its own copy, and Cinnamon should be able to get that Kitsune Rush in time, but still Nano and Primal available to stall a little.
Yeah, there's Nano Boost out already, but they're just going to find an
That's a
opening kill
boostio.
again.
Well, Jury is
that's
dead.
right.
That is an interesting booster here onto Less for Mercy. I'm not sure if that was really intended, but Less for Mercy gets the kill onto Soul before getting relieved by Ball. So they bring Hive Mind back into this game. 127 meters for them gains, but well, now they give it away. It seems like they could have well finished this. It really looked like a too scrappy team fight.
And they could have, but like they don't really need to. They've got such a large lead here. All they need to do is burn some time back, and they'll still be winning out the map all the same. Finishing the map is tricky, it's risky, it's expensive, and if you don't do it, it gives a bit of a springboard for your opponent to begin working themselves back into the map from. I mean, here with the Kitsune Rush and the beat, they're not in a bad spot in terms of ultimates, are Hive Minds, but it's okay. Asa just dies.
Of course, Red. Who else? Just hunting on the back line here with the Sombra. Gets the hack onto Cinnamon. Needs to disengage here. And Soul try to get back into his team, but Lil Tula won't happen. Let that happen. So, Soul is dead here again. The Hive Mind running for the hills. At least they tried, but Cinnamon, again, under such pressure. Seems to get out, though, thanks to the TP. Throne's still fighting in front. Gets hacked and cannot go anywhere, of course, without the blinks or the recall. So, the momentum swings back towards Lupine. They let the game come to them. Y goes in, and that is going to be very horrific because the stagger is going to be so massive. The respawns haven't come in, and you're already collecting kills. This could be indeed the finisher of this map if they really wanted to.
Yeah, they can EMP if they see a good engage timing. I'd personally probably just wait for a dive and counter it with the pop when you see a touch coming through.
And there's gonna be the EMP, and it's massive. You hit 3, but Soul hit away, so there's gonna be the beat at least. But Boss still dies somehow. Was way too much damage here. Y receives it and was hunting down targets that don't have the beat anymore. And you get Cinnamon from that. Has to drop slow, and that's gonna be it. The push spot will seal the deal. Lupine reverse sweeps against the home team from Kasa Hivemind. An insane comeback here. Absolutely deserved. They had this really in their backs, it seemed like, for Hivemind. After Lijiang Tower, we could have said that maybe, but Lupine, respects. That's exactly how we need to answer. And they win out the series, Spec. I cannot believe my eyes.
Yeah, last fight there, pretty perfectly structured fight from UK and Lupine. Wait for the engage from Hivemind, just EMP it. That gets rid of the most important cooldowns, your bubble, for example, your cleanse, for example, and you, of course, you get a major health advantage. Beat comes through from I believe that was Soul, and it's pretty well timed. I think him not getting EMP'd is really the only issue in all of this kind of action. But in all before the beat actually gets off, Bulb just goes down. So you're in a 4v5. Then we see a later beat come through from the side of Les for Mercy from UK and Lupine. Like that's every single advantage you could possibly want, and then you just get the cleanup from there. So perfect use of those ults to control the tempo, control the pacing of the fight, and because of that, then UK and Lupin will be able to take that series.
Yes, sir. And well, after that very tasty match, we have another one coming up very soon for you. We're gonna see the next home team here, the Kasa Harbingers against the Mingis, after a little bit of a break. So we're gonna send it into a 5-min and see you guys then. All right. Welcome back from the break. Here we are with the next game. Well, we're still setting it up, but still, we can already talk about it. Kasa Harbingers versus the Mingis. So, what do we know about these fancy two teams, my dear friend Spec?
Got to watch Mingies play yesterday. If memory serves, it might be lying to me. I believe it was a loss for the Mingies.
I'm
Harbingers,
pretty sure too, yeah.
yeah, Harbingers. I mean, last time I casted was in the caster invitational, and that was God knows how long ago now. So I'm sure they've had some changes. I'm sure they've made some adaptations, and so I think I'm going to be discovering, along with everybody else here, when this game is going to be watched. So I'm kind of looking forward to listening and learning. We'll say once this game gets underway.
Yeah, Harbingers is already starting with a win from yesterday, it seems like. So there is that. Of course, you have that momentum going for you. Other than that, Harbingers seems to be a rather, well, how to put it uh, bluntly. Well, a team that has been hanging on to dire straits, really, because they were hanging on for 5 months straight, having only 3 active players. But now, finally, they have caught up. They have brought a full roster to this tournament, which is, very happy coincidence, quote unquote. So they are ready to go. They've already won their first match. And on the other half, the Mingis, interesting name, by the way, but we also have a big history how this name came to life. And that is that, first of all, well, let's see. In this little homework I'm seeing right in front of me. So Akira liked this word so much. Akira is, by the way, one of their players. Um, described a certain candy and the captain as a cat that got named by that word because Plink loved that word. So Mingy is pretty much the mascot now of this lovely team, and they call themselves the Mingis. Ah, isn't that white people happy? Well, I certainly love that story. We'll see if they are also gonna love this game against the Harbingers.
I can't lie. That's not normally how I would come up with a team name. We normally come up with the stupidest phrase possible and then just go int, which is I don't know. I thought that was the standard, to be honest. Waiting on everyone to get into lobby right now is what we're doing. I believe the Harbingers have loaded in first, but it's going to be a little while until everything's right and tight, ready to go. Um, New patch coming out very soon, season 12, I believe. I gotta
Yes.
say, from reading the developer notes, I'm not the happiest man in the world. So for those who don't know, it's going to be there's a new respawn system which is very complicated. Essentially, if people die within 6 seconds of the last death, then everybody respawns together. This is to stop people staggering. There's going to be nerfs to mobile heroes. And a couple other changes going to be in. Clash, the new game mode, that's going to be added to the competitive rotation, effective immediately as well. So lots of changes coming through for season 12. For my money, I'm not a fan of most of them. I feel like it's removing skill, but I got to get my hands on it first before I form a real opinion. At the end of the day, it's still going to feel like Overwatch. So I'm going to have to wait and see if everything gets sorted first. I'm not a happy bunny, though, I'll say that much for free.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, all right? Because I myself, I'm also on the more critical side of all these changes. But in the end, it's all about Overwatch. We somehow love this game still, no matter what's happening to it. We love casting, we love watching it. So yeah, I'm waiting. What's gonna happen in season 12? It's gonna be a mess for the first few weeks. We already know this, but Juno also is gonna get her release. We have a new Clash map. We used to have Hanaoka first, but now we have an Anubis map. So you see that all of the 2CP maps are getting redesigned and put into the game with this new Clash mode. So we're gonna have 2 maps to start it off in the competitive rotation. Not sure if they have made any adjustments to this game mode, but I'm pretty sure they did. About the new spawn system, you have this new wave respawn, and well, correct me if I'm mistaken, but aren't they also adding a speed boost coming out of spawn until you get
I
damaged?
don't mind the speed boost. Yeah, so the speed boost is to make the walks on Flashpoint a little bit less
Flashpoint, yeah,
brutal.
100%.
I don't mind that, to be honest. I feel like it's a quality of life thing. But I feel like it should be based on like proximity to enemies or something. I feel like I'd be a little bit worried about it getting funky once we get outside of like the first kind of points. You know, trying to like spawn camp cut rotations, that could get really, really weird with a speed boost. So we're gonna have to
Honestly,
wait and see how that works out.
Honestly, I was already daydreaming about it, how it would be to basically soft spawn camp somebody on Sombra
Hmm.
on a flashpoint map when they come out of spawn and you just
Chase it,
stand
yeah.
in like 100 meters and just spray in their vast direction to stop the
Hmm.
speed boost from happening and then just bail. That would be funny as hell,
It's
just to
gonna be
annoy
so weird.
people.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they could have just made the map smaller, but you know, what do I know?
I think that is too much work.
I
To be honest,
will
that is
say
too
I,
much
I
work.
do I do really like the aesthetics of the Clash maps. Obviously the playtests, I think we can all agree that it wasn't ideal. So we're gonna have to wait and see if the new changes were actually going to be clever of them. Would have loved to see. Maybe it's so capping the last point wouldn't have ended out the map would be a choice I would have selected, would have suggested. So we don't just see like instant 2-3 fight maps
Oh
because I
yeah,
mean, so far this is the fastest game mode to complete. You know,
100%.
other than that, you could finish a game mode in about 5 minutes if you full held on like a hybrid or an escort and then capped first fight. But now you can get it in maybe 2-3 minutes. It's gonna be insane.
I mean, in Push it was even worse. I think we had records even in OWCS and OWL where we had games that were over in literally 3 minutes. I also remember some games in German Collegiate that ended that fast. And it was worse when we had that quick play hacked mode where the payloads were just super fast. I heard of literal 60-second push maps. Well, okay, that's not, of course, not gonna be an issue because, well, that was quick play hack, that was fun experiment, anyways. But on Clash, I 100% agree. It because of how fast it could be, it didn't really feel like a comp mode. It was too arcadey for that. But doesn't matter now. No Clash today on the Kasa World Tour, and we're gonna hand it off to our teams. We're gonna head into the first map. It's gonna be Lijiang Tower again, and we're gonna start this time on Night Market.
Harbinger's going to be on the left side of our screen, and of course, their opponents, Minji's on the right. A couple seconds till door unlocks, and I don't remember Minji's playing a Pharah here. I believe they went towards a Brawlia style to actually try and play here. So that's what I kind of expect to see first. Yeah, this
Yep.
Ash Tracer, I remember this. So it's going to be a Brawl Poke hybrid. Typically, the way this wants to play is you want to go super slow. You want to use Ram's Nemesis form just to burn time, and you want to wait for Korax and Akira to find some sort of DPS frag. Obviously, with this Ryan comp, it's just going to be TP high ground and sit on the objective. Last time, I remember when Minji's played against this, then they began reading it. They began punishing the teleporter because it got a little bit too predictable. That's one trap Minji's need to stay away from.
Also excited to see the Ryan versus Ram duel. Usually we would say, oh, well, Ram wins this out. But with all the tank changes that happened and lots of individual buffs to Ryan himself, he could be quite a formidable force against the Ram. They're going to take this TP and go fast onto point here. The Kasa Harbingers have the first control here. Going to be a fire strike attempt here in the back, but Akira's the first one dying here. So the Mingis already lose one player. Skilla also drops low, has to disengage, and of course they see blood in the water. The speed boost here, Desero goes in deep, sweeps across, and there's gonna be a full team reset for this team of Mingis. The Kasa Harbingers coming out big.
Yeah, lovely there. Just actually getting some value off the TP course. And first cap here, so valuable. Especially when you're playing into Ash comps that kind of struggle to attack. So a lot harder now to find an opening, especially with Desiree just cleaving the kind of front choke here. Look how close he is to a Shas already.
That's fast, of course, and that is also a very valuable ultimate here. And needs to be careful here, Desiree. Needs a little bit of health before he can really peek out again, but there's going to be so much pressure onto him. They choose to disengage and just stabilize, because otherwise they would lose way too many resources. So they bring the fight back until the point, of course, that will invite the Mingis back onto main. Akira I was thinking about going onto flank, but he's delaying for now.
A strong ult tracker will know about the shatter by now. And drops it!
There you go. And look at that, the cleanup, it's so beastie. And so far we have to say Harbingers, they're not really letting Mingis play the game. They don't know what's happening around them. But no adjustments either from them. Also, I guess it's too late for that now because they have a lot of ult charge.
Yeah, after you use these ults, though, I might be thinking about swapping here. It's a playable matchup. It's just really hard, especially into the Earth Shatter. So they've got that tool out the way, sure. They're on their strong ults now for sure. But if they can't win this fight, then I don't believe they can win any fight, at least on this sub-map.
Yeah, 100%. There's gonna be the window in front, the Symmetra wall. Not exactly perfectly played, but look at that. Skiller goes in with that annihilation, and now with the beat onto Desero, there's no chance to survive. And Rose with a 3-piece on his behalf. Gonna seemingly end this one because now there's gonna be desperation coming out for the team of Mingis. They only have 15% left to really make it back onto point. No swaps whatsoever from them. Akira will even get taken out before even getting close to the point. There's gonna be the Bob sent in, but immediately gets moved around the corner. Mingis, what is that, folks? Can even make it to point? They will trigger the overtime and get a kill onto Fleury. Skiller is already there. Beat will be invested here as well. They want this point. They need this point. Of course, the Mingis, they want to stay alive, but now with the window in front, Rose will just shoot through it and melt Skiller in a second. And Desero, oh, with a 3-piece here. Look at that. The Harbingers, they are out for blood. And the Mingis, well, they have to shake themselves because that was a very bumpy ride here on Night Market.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea, but I feel like after you lose that ult fight, you need to be swapping over to something like a Pharah Monkey, Pharah Doom, because there's just no way you have of punishing. Like, what's your counterplay into the Rhine when they walk you? You can't really stop the walk. You don't have enough frontline damage for that. You need maybe a Bastion or maybe a higher damaging tank like a Malga for that. Nor can you survive when they actually do get in close. They have higher close frontline damage, especially if they stick on the Symmetra cast. Like, that's just an absolute boatload of DPS. You can't win when you have ults because the Earth Shatter just absolutely cooks you. So, what's your play here? It's just so tricky. So, again, there's going to be some changes, actually.
Oh, Junk.
Era could build a very quick tire, actually, but being here late will maybe hurt their chances.
Fine though, because Skiller keeps them away. They're gonna be in this choke point as long as they play there. Of course, that's gonna be great for Akira, who can just spam inside, but they are smart enough to just rotate the point into the open. And now we will have this battle here on the point. Great wall here. Desero gets the first kill onto Akira, and would you look at that? It's a very, very similar story that we saw on Night Market. It's again the Harbingers just wiping the floor with the corpses of the Mingis.
And again, 70% to Shatter is going to be one incredibly powerful tool that's online quick. I mean, the Junkrat really just does not get in at all, by the way. 16% ult charge on Akira. That's what doing the Sim TP for spacing will do to you. And now, what do you even try and do as an attacker? How do you try and break the choke into so much damage?
Of course, we have the Junkrat. They try a different route here. It's quite atypical here. Wall is going to be brought out from both teams, actually. But look at that. Desero is not... Oh, he just makes it inside of that lamp, and now the window's going to be popped. They are kind of trapped here. Shield is deployed, though, so they could go across before that shield is gone. And they just make it, but Corix will actually die here in front, and they still stay in front because they see some blood in the water, but there's nothing to be gained from it. And the Harbingers, they will be smart enough to just disengage, but at the same time, cut off the potato. What a shatter! It's fantastic. Desero breaks to their knees quite literally. It keeps swinging for the fence. He drops very low, needs a little bit of help, but his supports have his back. What a play from the main tank of Kasa Harbingers. If we would be in old times, I have to say it once, this would be an MTD.
I gotta say, though, it's exactly the same story as in that last round. We've just seen some spend out of the side of the Harbingers. Mingis, if they want to get any sort of value, need to win out this fight. They have 5 check marks, their opponent's 3. This is going to be the best advantage that they get, realistically, and they need to be conversing.
Speed boost for Rose. That's now gonna be the Blizzard, and Ryujin is frozen solid, but still gets out alive, and it doesn't matter. Look at the Harbingers. They don't care a bit about this window. They still want the kills. Rose just collecting them left and right, but finally there seems to be an answer. Flirin and Equa, they have been feeling themselves a little bit too much, will be picked off, but do they even get to the point? Blink? Where did Blink go? Excuse me? It was sent to a different postal code, and no, Corix wasn't on point. Oh no! Well, you said it already. Well, there's another round where there's spaghetti on the floor. Oh boy, we get it again. We get it again on Lijiang Tower.
That is just ridiculous. I mean, an absolute domination here on Lijiang Tower. It seems like it's just no real way that Minjis could take the fight to Harbingers because they were just going early and punishing every single time. Of course, map pick now for Minjis. I feel like you need to go Paraiso here because you need to make sure that they can't even do anything close to a Reinhardt because they've just fried you on it, I gotta say.
Absolutely, you need to avoid the dive mirror right now because holy, the Harbingers, man, it's smelling burnt in here. This is how hot they are cooking. Their brawl just outclasses the Minji so hard, but we need to also ask ourselves, do the Minjis have something up their sleeves? Are they essentially a one-trick team is the question. Can they really face the Harbingers on a different composition and break at least the brawl mirror? That is what they have to ask themselves. And as we can see, well, they will take on the challenge here. They will pick Paraiso. And I hope the Minjis really have a good dive here and can somewhat bring up a fight to the Harbingers, because that first one, oh boy, that was rough.
That was quite something. I'll put it that way. That was an absolute dismantling. And honestly, I've seen Ryan TP strats work on this map before. Watching the London Spitfire on Paraiso was an absolute masterclass. So if Harbingers have watched the tape, if they've figured out the strats, then it's very, very playable here. I gotta say. I mean, I do think Ryan is playable. I do think it's a solvable composition. Minjis, I mean, I feel like if you want to counter comp this, I'd go towards like essentially what we were seeing in that last map, right? This kind of Echo Tracer, Lucio Kiri, monkey style, where there's nothing really for them to teleport onto. You can engage when you want, take those angles when you want. But whether we see that or not is a different matter entirely.
So, let's go to the Brazilian sun. Paraiso is up for grabs. And it's going to be match point for the Harbingers after their formidable display of power on Lijiang Tower. And, oh yeah, I see we have some talks in there. Yeah, there's indeed no venture available. That's interesting. Well, but I guess we can fix that real quick before we really head into it. Yeah, of course, the untouchable dive is what you really want to go for if you want to avoid having a target that gets run down easily, which is also something that we could learn from the game we just saw with Hivemind against Lupine, because there was just the same problem. If you play this brawl, well, who do you really brawl? You want to run down something, you want to challenge something, but the map geometry, of course, is not going to facilitate that easily. So you have to go onto higher ground somehow. Of course, you can get onto the Anna Brick. For that, you need the sim. But if you get caught out in your rotations like we just saw it with the Dynamites, with the Purples, with Wyatt just sending it onto the back line, there's just no way you can get into position. And that's something they need to have in mind on Paraiso. Always mind the sim, always mind the TP strats, and be aware that you pick the right composition, because we saw on Lijiang Tower that their composition was unfortunately inferior, but we'll see if the game plan changes here on a dive map like Paraiso.
Yeah, I will say, I think the adaptations you need for Paraiso when you're coming up with these sim comps, you do need your hit scan to really be popping off. And, I think Cass might almost struggle. The real strength of the Spitfire when they played it here was the Bastion amplified your pressure cycles so much. And you had like actual long range damage coming through from your very, very short range composition. So would love to see that come out if they're going to play it. But instead, they're going to be boring and play a D.Va composition in the D.Va meta. Who could have guessed?
Especially on defense, D.Va excels a lot because she's so good at staying alive and denying space while still being such a threat. D.Va is, well, pretty much the jack of all trades. She survives a lot, she has a lot of play potential, and she can be played like something like an assassin. I think you could even put a DPS player with enough game sense to tank on the D.Va right now and just pop off. That is how strong she is right now. But we have also seen some D.Vas fall already in this meta as well, and maybe the Minjis will be the team to bring them to their knees. Skilla rolling out on the Winston. Other than that, there's gonna be Corex. Oh, shot attempt onto Zoffi. Will not connect though.
Yeah, it's going to be super hard for Skilla to find an actual way in here. The D.Va's so good at marking the dives, especially with the micro missiles and the boop as well. Yeah, this deadlock's gonna last for a while here, folks, unless somebody makes a mistake.
Look at that, Skiller. Can't even access the high ground without the Diva fishing
Oh, he
for him.
misses
Now he
his
messes
jump
up
as
his
well.
jump as well. But Corex opens up the hunt with a fantastic kill onto Flurin. So that's gonna be great for the attacking side now without the pesky Echo flying around, and immediately Dizero needs to give up some space. They have now this range wide open. They just need to look for the kills. Corex looking for Zuffy here together with Skiller. They need to give up the point for now and give up a few ticks, but they should be in the position to re-engage.
A retake is, yeah, definitely possible here, but forcing yourself to a choke, always a little bit awkward, always a little bit risky, and Harbingers have to wait for a mistake.
But the mistake is made here by Florin. Again, Corex is the one picking up the kill, so standing in the open, getting Rose and Equa, it seems like, as some visitors, but Plink is able to get out of Equa. So, Mingis, they have the spawn advantage here, but for now, they just don't have the pressure, and they can't really challenge Desero here. They'll finally force him out. Gotta be some space to be taken here. Skiller's also still alive. They might as well just keep up the pressure, and especially now with Rose not being in the back line, just being that deadly ghost. But still, they don't want to give it up that easily. On Plink on the high ground, just being the guardian, you're booping off Florin, who also swapped away from the Echo. Corex again with a kill onto Equal. Now finally the Diva's gone. When the Diva's gone, that means also that the point is up for grabs. And that's exactly what's gonna happen. The Mingis, they show themselves.
That they do. Point gonna be capped. Very healthy time back through second. Might be the first time it feels like that we've cast that we actually get to see the third point of this map. Of course, defense, not too healthy, or not too bad whatsoever. They've got some ults, the Kitsune, the biggest one, the bomb, lovely to have as well, but the Nano on Ryujin, definitely the largest tool in the server right now. Very likely going on to Skiller or Akira.
Corex is putting up so much pressure. Just hitting the shots, just as you should. Playing it slow and dandy right now. They want to clear that high ground, just taking it safe. They're almost brawling that, but with the Kitsune rush in front, it will be a little bit harder to do so. Dizero was, I think, thinking about the bomb here. It's not gonna happen though. Rally now in front, Plink looking for the targets. Oh, he messed up his booster. That's gonna be too much damage. Dizero will still make it into safety though, thanks to the DM, and Florid somehow died. Well, that's very ominous, but what a purple here, and Rose looking for the kill onto Plink will secure just that. Dizero gets the kill to Ryujin. The D-Mech onto Akira, thanks. Wait, what? Wait a minute. Oh, that was the copy. I was about to say, what was happening here? Well, there you go, Desero showing off why the Diva is right now the tank of the hour.
Yeah, just marking the dive especially well. I think we see Corex kind of struggling to get in here. That's kind of because of the map geometry. If he tries to use Coach to position anywhere, then it's a free dive target. And if not, you're just like walking through terrible areas of the map. So tries forcing Carp, but then you're a free target and you're giving over a 4v5. Needs to be a peak.
Oh,
okay, Primal Force.
Yeah, I needed to use that to survive, and actually gets the kill onto Rose. Has a lot of HP and dives into the backline just to juggle Florin off the high ground. So you gain a little bit of space. You gain a first skill here. Sleep that onto Desero. You want this Diva out of mech if you can. She drops very low and needs to at least get out. Bob's going to be sent into the backline. Beat will be committed just to keep everyone alive. And now they have to use all their resources for now onto the bomb, but it gets melted immediately. Nano now onto Skiller, who hunts down here the squishes in the backline that need to disengage thanks to that speed boost of Equa. That will be just that, but Corex sees them and gets the kill into Equa with Zophie in the grave too. This should be wide open. This point should be a cap for the Mingis as the right click of Skiller just doesn't want to collect it. Oh no, and Desero and Florence still bring it back somehow. I cannot believe it. Mingis, they pretty much had it, but there you go. They didn't.
Just lack of target focus. Unfortunately, it's individual mistakes, and that means that Desero now pushing into their spawn. Diva going to be marked at least for now, but this is a very, very healthy defense now. 2 minutes off the clock. You've still got that Kitsune rush. You've still got a bomb of both varieties. This is going to be a super hard attack here.
Rush already committed here, and Desero, of course, uses that power of the Diva to just go in and murder people. Rose also in the backline, just being the nuisance that he needs to be. Gets both supports. Desero escapes the deadly beam of Akira and will stay in mech, but Corex can answer for now with the kill onto Equa before they go back for the reset.
Last fight coming up now. Minute 20 left to go. They have maybe 2 attempts This one with the dupe of the Echo, no fantastic targets for it. That's a huge kill. You just got to cancel now.
Ooh.
That forced it to be only one fight. Yes, it won't be a bad fight. You have the Primal, you'll have the Rally. You can maybe try your other two. Should it go long? You're gonna play your life, Equa. Oh, surviving there anymore. And Blink's dead now.
What the hell is happening? There is no way, Equa. That is the tastiest bait you can give out, and Desero saves him somehow. And you still get the kill onto Blink, who was somewhat overextending in this position, quote unquote overextending. Wow, insane. And now that's more time burned off the clock. One more try for the Mingies to really get this done, to dethrone the Harbingers, who are looking at that feisty victory. But they need to push it over the finish line. The Mingies are still not out of this. Lots of pressure onto Desero. It's gonna be the Kiriko Suzu out. It's got to be the burn, but also the pulse bomb onto Ryujin will secure the kill here. Plink, the only support now available, needs to go in with that rally beat that will stabilize everyone. Still, Skiller has the primal, gets the kill at least onto Zafi. That's a crucial one, but you need more to get this done. But the clock is running, and who's there? Point! Can somebody touch? I think Akira just barely touched. Stays alive for now, and the D.Va is out of Mag Desero. Just looking to get the Mac back as fast as possible, but for now, at least the Mingies, they have the card under control. They can bring it back, and Plink gets the kill onto Florin. It is such a vital one. You want this Ash off the high ground. You want all the space you can get. But once Desero is back in his mech, it's going to be very, very crucial to get that. But it doesn't seem to be the thing. Sleep Dart got to be applied here now. Bob also sent in, you really want this done. But Desero just jumps onto the point, and there you go. The Mingies, they make it happen. Potentially, yes, but Rose still with a kill onto Corix. Shouldn't be an issue, though. The Tracer is alone. And after all of this, well, we just saw it earlier with Hive Mind. Now, the Mingies, they seem to inherit a little bit of that overtime magic. And there you go. 3rd point.
I gotta say, I'm really not sure I love the decision to invest the rush when you're down your mech. If you've got a D.Va mech, then it makes a recontest pretty strong, honestly. You can use the DM to get in, and you can fight on point with the rush. But you've got no mech. What's the point? I mean, it just seems like an ult thrown after a bad situation. We see the monkey out as well now, of course, the Ana with it. But honestly, I feel like the D.Va carry was working out for, 4 minutes of that defense.
Absolutely agreed. Desero was doing such a fantastic job. I guess the Kitsune Rush was committed to maybe get the mag back faster, but Desero just didn't feel it, just jumped onto the point instead, also because the Sleep Dart connected onto Zafi. But now we see the swap. We have been talking about it. The Winston versus D.Va, especially in this meta, but we see the D.Va actually gone. Now in all this chaos, though, the Mingies have a great momentum going on. Nano now invested on the Skiller. Bob is going to be sent in. Skiller, oh, there's a lot of targets in front, and he's still there, but Zafi will be kept out of the range of the Lucian. Would you look at that? The entire backline chewed up, perfectly captured by our observer Mod, who is doing a fantastic job right now. And the Mingies, they don't have any time left, but they still have enough bodies on card.
That was a bit of a mistake there from Equa. Missing their boop means that it was only the coach run to stop the monkey, and once that got out of the way, the re-jumps absolutely flattened them. Fighting now to try and stop the cap coming through. OT, of course, going to be in here, and a rally on the objective to keep it stalled out.
So close to the Primal Rage, will just get a good Sleep Dart here onto Akira, but gets immediately woken up and healed. Plink gets the kill onto Rose. Desero has the Primal Rage, looking for some targets to juggle around, gets the Nano here to just do more damage, but it's more of a desperation move because Zafi also got a very unfriendly visitor by Skiller. The Mingies are zoned off in the backline thanks to Desero. Nice Suzu, though, will keep them alive for now. Skiller is just fighting for his life a little bit until his Prime Rage pulls bomb down from Rose onto Plink will connect, and now with Skiller dead, there's nothing else to get out of this. The Mingies, they will be stopped here right in front of the finish line, but what a push in between. We thought this was over on 2nd point, but would you look at that, the Mingies still have some fight in them.
Could have, maybe should have been stopped in 2nd, but when all's said and done, they get a stop all the same. They know where the Bucks got to stop, but already we're seeing a lot more fight here, of course, out of the Mingies than we did here on Control. Just seems like swapping obviously is more mobile comps. It just favors the now defending side a hell of a lot more. Still, though, they're going to have to stop the action attack from coming through, and that came down absolutely to the wire. So I'm not feeling as confident as maybe I would be in a team who did it in a bit more of a, we'll say, consistent fashion, right? I mean, that defense on 2nd point was absolutely ironclad. And so unfortunately, one slip up meant that we made it almost the entire way through the map. Very likely won't be any real change-ups in the composition. I'd love to see the D.Va come back out, actually. I think that really was a great choice, but it doesn't look like they're going to do it. Instead, once the Ana break for the nanocycles on the attack, Fleurin going to be starting Widowmaker. I expect a Ashe pick, probably, afterwards, but Echo 2 would be a viable choice.
I have to say, I'm not that surprised to see Dizero back on the Winston, because especially on first point, well, you can expect that the enemies are just going to play this Pokestone on this high ground, and D.Va is very survivable, yes, but she isn't exactly fast. Let's see the pop shot from Fleurin, but of course nobody will show themselves, maybe just the tank. The skill, of course, won't fall to that. So Dizero is just there to have this very fast jump and to have a better space denial than the D.Va has, which is what we're going to see for now. Maybe on point B, I would expect the D.Va to come out, but they have to make it until this point. The Minjis, for now, already scratched off 30 seconds, and we rather slow approach. Of course, Corix, who has been popping off a lot on this Ashe, has been showing off and is going to show again. So far, that's a lot of pressure here, but the Ana drops super low. Look at that. Rose will be slapped here, and as you can see, the support line is already gone off the attack side. So this should be it for now.
Yeah, it's a really good setup there from the front line of Harbingers there, but the backline flubs their rotation. They should probably not be going down to a solo dive from Skilla in any scenario, really. So whether they got caught off by a nade or just, slipped up with their spacing, bit of a mistake that really does cost their team. Skilla is forced out again. See how much space that the attackers get essentially for free here because of how passive the defense is. But capitalizing on that space is a different matter entirely, and that we've yet to see.
And that's exactly the issue, because you invite them in on those sidelines here. But that is the aggression that you need to have. Fleurin will be out, but Corix as well, and that is very crucial. You want this Ashe to be gone, but Copy will be invested here. Akira now bringing another Winston to the fray, but Desero dives into the backline, gets Plink here, but now Ryujin is dead as well. So no more supports available for either team, actually. No heals whatsoever. It's going to be a team deathmatch on point. Akira just juggling the enemy monkey around. Nezuko will drop a little bit, but has to use the Primal Rage, which probably is a good decision. Look at that. He's going to have his Primal Rage for 3 seconds longer, but of course he's going to have a lot of issue now with the supports coming back from spawn and all of that. Well, at least gave them a lot of space. The Harbingers, they have access to the point right now. Nano would be available for Desero. Jumps in. Not going to get the Nano now upon dropping down, of course, but there's going to be the counter Nano here, and of course it's going to be the backline again that's got feasted on. Desero kills both in a fell sweep, but Skilla was not able to kill the enemy backline, at least gets out his counterpart Desero. But other than that, it seems like the Harbingers, they have the necessary stability. Still, it's only Skilla, but he will just get poked in the face by that whip shot, and that's going to seal the deal. The Harbingers will get the point with roughly 90 seconds left.
It takes them a lot of time, but I really love the way they approached that. That was methodical, and while the fights got scrappy, they were able to approach it from a pretty rational point of view. So I really like that, and gives me a lot of hope going forward. Slightly weaker time mech than their opposition here, but if they're able to continue playing this methodical style, focusing on the map control, then they'll be able to do it a darn sight easier, I feel, than their opposition. Oh, perfect.
Good old tank gameplay, folks. Some people get Vietnam flashbacks of that. That's certainly true. But now with Skilla being dead so early, of course, that's so much free progress, basically, for the team of the Harbingers that can just contest this high ground for free. Desero is looking for a target. Blink needs to get out with that shield bash. It's going to do just that, but it's going to be already quite close. Full Swamp of Corix needs to be a one. Actually, drops really low there, and Skilla, but close to Primal Rage, but drops a little bit. Fleurin with an early copy wants to, well, strengthen the position of his team. Now has the Primal here, gets booped off high ground, but jumps right back onto it. And well, Blink, yeah, that rally attempt was formidable, but it remains just a try. The Pulse Swap will blow Skill up to smithereens, and that should be second point here if they even make it close.
I mean, the way you deal with an Ana break, other than just heaping damage on, is forcing them to stop hold hands. The primal off the high ground forces it so that there's going to be a little bit of clearness, and then from there on, it's just going to be absolutely wiped out. Fighting the objective, but it's going to get awkward both ways.
they actually invest onto this defense, but Akira gets the kill onto Florian though, so it's actually not over yet. The Harbingers aren't done yet with his attack. They still have some to go. There's gonna be the Nano though onto Desero, who is hunting down some targets, and Ryuchi drops low. Is gonna be killed here, but they trade out Ikwa. So again, the support lines, they are really the ones that are suffering the most in these matches, it seems like, but now it's gonna be the DPS line falling here for the likes of Minji's. That should be it here. The purple also invested. Desero goes on to Blink, who realizes there's nothing to gain of this, and he will try to get out while the second point falls, and we're gonna have the final push of the Kasa Harbingers on Paraiso and maybe seal the deal here.
Yeah, Nano Boost online for Ryujin. That's the only real tool to work on right now. Correx moves over to the Kasa. He wants a shorter range sightlines. But right now, could go either way. If I'm attacking, I'm trying to build into my primal, build a fight plan around that. And if you hit a pulse one, then all for it. But if not, then I don't really know. It might just have to be mechanical. Oh my god, he almost dies.
And that was close here. Nano onto Skiller now. Doesn't really have anything to dive right now. It's a little weird. Nano's got to be gone now. So you lose that vital resource. We know that a Winston with a Nano can be so fierce. There was a nice sleep that, by the way, here onto Desero, but should be safe and sound. But now goes onto the backline. Just too many people that are really asking to be finished off. That looks good. Desero with a Primal Rage takes so much damage, and now in this enclosed room needs to get out and will do just that. It looks like an absolute desperation move for the Minjis to try to claw themselves back into this game, but it is just not possible for now. Card still running. Kasa Harbingers are looking to finish off the series with his win over Paraiso, and now with Ryujin dead, this might well just be it, but they need to get the kill here on the Blink. That's gonna be the Nano, and look at that, that's gonna be it. GG's, I would say. The Harbingers will get it done and avenge their home team of the Hive Minds, who just fell against Lupine. They will get another victory on the belt, and a 2-0 at that, back.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit harder when we get on to the Paraiso than it is on the Brawl execution, but they get it done all the same. I gotta say, very good strength of hero pool, very good complexity and depth of comps they can play, and I think they can play them both at a relatively high level. You know, I was pretty impressed by how they were able to execute. Like I said, I was super happy with how they were approaching map control, especially in point 1 and 2 of that map. And I think because of that, that's why we don't see them get hung up on the same roadblocks that everybody else kind of does when attacking on Paraiso. So Kasa Harbingers, I think their team play, definitely their strength. Their ideas of macro execution definitely helping them find their victory here today.
And agree more. But I also have to highlight the Minjis, that after such a bad first map, well, they showed off. They have shown that on Paraiso they mean business. They at least made this team of Harbingers sweat and made it very awkward and very close in the middle. But after all, well, they couldn't close it out. As you said, Harbingers just way too good on just executing proper Overwatch in the end. Good team play, playing their hero pools to their strengths, and it's just so well executed as well with the space control, with the pressure. It just all fell into place, and we will be seeing what they can whip out in the Kasa World Tour. They are definitely punching for the higher weight classes, while Minji still have to stabilize themselves, but there's still some games to play. And also, that means the end of our little casting experience. There's still gonna be another game coming up with a few new voices for you. And let me check real quick what the game is gonna be. It's gonna be Void versus Turquoise Wisp. So have fun, y'all. This has been Chris and Spec. Well, Spec, I would say. You lead us into the next.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time. It's been fun, but the Castle World Tour will continue in just a couple minutes. So see you guys in a little bit.
Your customers expect to buy what they want, how they want. So you need a commerce platform that's flexible, customizable, and crazy fast. Shopify Plus is built to handle the complexity of your business, so you can focus on your brand and deliver a seamless customer experience across every device, country, and channel. Save time by turning manual tasks into powerful automated workflows. Target key markets with local currencies and unlimited storefronts. Increase conversion with personalized shopping and checkout experiences. And sell out in seconds, knowing we won't hold you back. Partner with the best commerce platform.
Testing 1, 2. There.
Oh, we hear you.
I'm ready. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome back to day 2 of the Kasa World Tour. It is myself again, Geordie Steele, aka James, and with me again today is Ebroth.
Good evening, everyone.
Today we have a fantastic match for you. It is Turquoise Wisps versus Void in the upper division.
Yeah, and it looks to be a very interesting map because yesterday when we casted, there was one very established team on one side and then a bit of a newer team on the other side on both the matches we casted. Today it seems to be two very established teams.
Indeed, both Turquoise Wisps and Void, they're both veterans of the tournament scene from what I understand, and both played for quite a long time. So it will be interesting to see how this goes. So far, Void have put in an extremely strong showing and have looked very confident and very practiced out there.
Absolutely, the amount of synergy that we saw from Void yesterday was impressive, to say the least. And I think hopefully today we get a more competitive match than we saw yesterday.
I think Void are definitely looking strong contenders for perhaps first place so far from what we've seen.
Absolutely, and they have won tournaments in the past, so they absolutely have that winner's experience. So it would be interesting to see if Turquoise Wisps can pressure them.
Of course, we mustn't forget that today is indeed the last matches that we played on the current patch in Overwatch until the new season comes out and, of course, Juno is introduced.
Absolutely. I don't know if Juno will be allowed until the next stage of the tournament, even with the patch note. I'm actually not sure.
Indeed, Juno will be locked out for the group stage in the round robin and will be allowed in the finals.
Yeah. But it will mean that the matches next week will be on a new patch, which means the meta is going to get a shakeup.
Well, exactly. We still don't know for certain what changes will be coming. Certain changes have certainly been talked about, and there are hints at some. But Blizzard have a tendency of introducing one or two curveballs in the patch notes that people don't really expect.
Yeah, I saw. Actually, kind of funny. I saw Super made like a clip of Super looking at the patch, and I was like, "Is Diva mentioned as a debuff?" No, then patch or blog post irrelevant. So I think a lot of high level players think that Diva is very overtuned at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. Since they buffed the duration of DM, a well experienced Diva player can appear to just have infinite DM that never runs out.
Absolutely, but even though that's the thought process that a lot of higher level streamers at least look at it, meta wise in OWCS so far, I haven't seen a lot of Diva.
That is indeed true from my experience. We don't see a lot of Diva at very high level play. She does appear occasionally now and then, but I often find that in a team setting, that Winston just has more presence, makes more space than Diva does.
Absolutely, and with the Winston bubble, the options for isolating target dive targets and denying heals is a lot greater than Diva's DM can do.
I feel Winston's play style is more sort of committal, that once you've gone in and placed your bubble, you have no choice but to play with that. Diva can be all over the place, and that doesn't necessarily lend itself to coordinated dives.
Absolutely. I think if you are to play Diva, you have to play a bit more counter dive. You have to wait for the Winston to go in and then burn the Winston with the Diva. But it is a more difficult playstyle to do and more risky.
Higher risk, higher reward, I feel.
Absolutely. We've also seen a lot of Ashe played in the current meta, mostly because both Sojourn and Cassidy got nerfed pretty hard recently.
And it looks like we're ready to go to the lobby here. We are starting again on Lijiang Tower, a favorite in tournaments. It'll be interesting to see how this game's played. We are starting on Night Market. This is a map that lends itself to quite a few different play styles and quite a few different comps. Brawl is viable, Dive is viable. Let's see how they shape up.
Absolutely. The all-time classic on this map is the Symmetra TP rotations. You speed out of spawn, you TP onto point as quickly as possible. But as you said, dive also very viable. Pharah really strong on this map because you have so many angles behind the point that you can play around.
There is many a time I've seen the entire point flip with just a pharmacy and nothing else. It can be really quite devastating.
Absolutely. And what are we seeing? We're seeing Diva dive on the side of Turquoise, I think, and then Hog. They're trolling us now, right? No way they're playing Hog and Life Fever.
If this is the comp that Void roll out on, then it will be very different indeed. However, they are all making wholesale switches now, and they go into a more classical dive. The sim is probably just to get them out of spawn quicker, and they'll probably switch to a tracer, I would imagine.
Yeah, they're absolutely playing the Korean meta comp here, with the Ashe in the backline, Monkey and Tracer to take space, and then a really strong support line.
It's a really aggressive position in there from the Diva, holding the space very effectively.
And it's going to be really hard for Turquoise Wisps to actually get close with the Winston denying them like this.
Oh, picks coming in on the side of Void. Whirlwind getting a really nice headshot there. Mejdal on Tracer getting a pick or two. They're looking really, really strong. I feel their tempo there was really good. They didn't rush. They waited until they saw a few resources committed, and then they went in.
Yeah, and they also went really early. Like Machu went really early, denied space with bubble, so Diva couldn't play in, and it looks like we have a pause now.
Yeah, it looks like we have a disconnect.
Yeah, or at least the tank on Turquoise is lagging. the writing or callout was D.Va flying into the wall off HP. So
That's very unfortunate. It looks like they're ready to restart though.
it does look like it. Yeah, I think Turquoise needs to look a bit at their comp because it is really hard for them to take space with Machu playing as aggressively as he is.
Of course, that will affect the tempo that Turquoise Wisps had there. That pause will not work in their favor at all.
Absolutely, and seems like Machu is taking a lot of space in this area.
This is a
of,
very nice
Turquoise.
position to hold there on the Mega. It makes it really easy to retreat, just jumping over there. Machu does almost go down with no armor, though, and needs to be a bit careful how we play that.
They also,
Mejdal winning the Tracer duel.
yeah, they also managed to take out Whirlwind, but it looks like Void is managing to adapt to that and still get picks.
That's an extremely early primal from Machu there coming out, extremely early. That was very impressive, the speed that was built.
Absolutely, and I think that goes down to his aggressive play style. He's taking a lot of space, but it's also doing a lot of damage. Like, tanks in Overwatch 2 do so much damage.
That's a really powerful nade coming there, finding the D.Va. Nano goes out. This is a very powerful engage, and Lucio goes down. Echo's probably going to go down too. Copy is burnt, so Echo can stay alive. This is not looking amazing for Turquoise Wisps at this point.
So it kind of looks like they're trying to throw ultimates at the problem at the moment. Coordination needs a bit of work, and again, I think just the space that Macha is creating is making it so hard for Turquoise to reach the Void backline.
Turquoise invest many ultimates there and make no progress whatsoever. In terms of ult economy, Void looking a little down. They do have Rally coming up and probably another Primal really quick. However, Turquoise Wisps have D.Va Bomb and Beat coming up very soon. There goes the D.Va Bomb, and that finds Machu. That's a big pick.
Yeah, they do cap the point though. So Machu dying, it seems to have a large impact on how Void is playing. Because they gave up a lot of space as soon as Machu died in the previous fight.
I think Void need to just play this quite calmly, take their time, choose their engagements. That said, picks coming in immediately from Mejdal and Machu. They're huge picks and just clean up. That was an extremely decisive team fight.
Absolutely, managing to demech the D.Va that early in the fight just destroys Turquoise staying power. That's a huge early stick.
Which relic goes down to Mejdal's pulse bomb? That's going to really hurt the chances of Turquoise Wisp from even getting a retouch.
They do manage to get it to overtime, but I think this is said and done, and GG next for Turquoise on Lijiang.
Very clean plays we see there. They're just trickling in at the moment from Turquoise Wisps to try and get a contest, but of course that doesn't get anywhere.
Yeah, I think maybe as you mentioned, the pause and the lag issues in the beginning probably destroyed a bit of their momentum and a bit of their synergy. And hopefully they can get that back for this part of the map.
We are now on Garden, of course. Many playstyles also viable here, but many teams favoring the dive at the moment.
Yeah, and it looks like Void is flirting with a very old style dive composition with the ball Sen.
We don't really see that all that much. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Absolutely, and it's one of those compositions that you kind of lure people in with the alluring presence of Zen, such an easy target. But then you disrupt rotations in, you get Discord on, and then you destroy.
Zen taking a very safe position here, quite away from the fight, but of course Zen has no damage fall-off and can do that quite safely. Machu does go down though. That's really unfortunate for Void because the entire comp does rely on the synergy between Zen, Tracer, and Ball. You lose one, you can't really continue.
Yeah, and I think they didn't expect the Zen on the side of Turquoise here, I think, because when Ball gets discorded, he dies very quickly. And especially with the Venture booping the ball out of position, that has to be annoying to play against.
Of course, they still don't have Diva Mech yet for Turquoise Wisps. That will really make it quite difficult. However, picks are coming in very successfully on the side of Turquoise Wisps. They're looking an awful lot more comfortable than they did the last map.
Absolutely, and I feel like Lolol, is that how you pronounce it? Their Zen is looking really crisp here. Like they're doing so much to pressure Void out for their damage.
Turquoise Wisps now have made an interesting switch to the Venture. If they brawl on point, that's quite a lot of damage that can be spammed in one direction.
Absolutely, Doomfist has yeah, they swapped the Doomfist to counter what Turquoise is playing, but I don't think that's a good choice here. Doomfist into Zen is it's a difficult thing to pull off.
Indeed, they also have the lamp from Baptiste as well, which can make diving Baptiste incredibly obnoxiously difficult.
Absolutely, but it does look like Void capture here.
Void do indeed flip the point. They're now at 23% to Turquoise Wisps 42%. Neither team are going to be in any particular hurry here, and they'll want to feel out how things are going. And both teams do have a sizable ult economy coming up on the way.
Absolutely, it's going to be interesting to see how they rotate their ultimates here. If they all just click Q, or if there's going to be a bit more thought process to it.
It may be possible that Void will hold on and not to invest Blade and Nano until they can combo them. However, 3 picks going down. The Zen on sides of Turquoise Wisps is looking extremely crisp, as you say. Very clean plays and a lot of kills in the kill feed coming up.
Yeah, Machu dying early in the previous fight just makes it really easy for Turquoise to take space and get kills, especially with that Discord on targets.
We will almost certainly see a Nanoblade next engagement. It looks like Whirlwind is setting up for that now.
Yeah, but if they go in with Nanoblade, they have to hit an anti-nade to make sure that the Transcendence doesn't just deny it.
Oh, that's absolutely big for Void. The Nano comes out. They don't commit the Blade, but that forces... Oh, no! And Whirlwind goes off the map there. Only Nano was used. They didn't use the Blade. They got Trance out, which is really good for them. Now Beat comes out on the side of Void. It's really big, actually. And I didn't think that fight was going to go on the side of Void.
Oh, that was very well played by Void to lure out the Transcendence, and then unlucky for Whirlwind to get booted off by Hate. Yeah, that Beats also comes in clutch.
It looks like Void have actually found their footing here, and they're starting to find their rhythm now. As the Blade does come out, doesn't find an awful lot of value. Venture, however, is looking really low and having to escape there to avoid being killed. It is now looking. It's now looking like it's Void's control of the map.
Yeah, it's absolutely the last fight. Machu dying there could be problematic if Turquoise can make it to the point.
And they will have to really rush as there are only a few seconds left.
Big sleep on Hate, but
that was an absolutely massive sleep. Nicely aimed. They do make it for the contest. Machu goes down. Huge work from the Zen here coming in. Massive amounts of damage. Very difficult to do anything about. And it looks like Turquoise Wisps do indeed get the flip. And now it is Void that is on the back foot, and they're going to have to rush to make their final team fight as well to stop the map going to Turquoise Wisps.
Yeah, I think the major issue is that Machu has to go in early, and then every time he gets discorded... Oh, that's another pause.
Possibly another disconnect. It did look like Mejdal fell off the map, that perhaps that was lag.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Tracy
yeah, I
DC
thought
here.
so, yeah.
Yeah, I think in the previous fight you saw Machu go in deep to try and contest the Zenyatta of Turquoise. He gets discorded, headshot a couple of times, kicked, and then he just folds over. There's like Sen is one of the few people that don't have to respect Doom a lot. Like if you don't get punched off the map, you just discord and burn him down.
Of course, Doom doesn't have an awful lot of means of damage mitigation available to him.
Absolutely not. He has the block, and since he doesn't have armor, he's one of the more squishy tanks when it comes to just raw damage, because he doesn't have that damage reduction that most other tanks have.
I think so far on this particular map, Void is definitely looking like the stronger team, but I'm not feeling we're seeing anything like the normal coordination and confidence we see from Void.
I also think they're investing a bit too much in the disrupt part of their dive, with starting on Balda and then going to Doom. I do think staying on the monkey and creating space with those bubbles would be stronger here.
Yeah, I agree with you, especially in the case of playing against the Zen. It's just better to zone the Zen off than try and contest directly. It's much more effective. I think they'd have had much more staying power if they'd played the monkey here.
Absolutely, and it like looking at Turquoise Wisp's composition here, it looks like they have a really strong poke with the Zenyatta. They have a really strong mid range with both Cassidy and Baptiste very good in that range differential, and they have a okay dive potential with both Diva and Tracer. So it's a very good hybrid comp that they're playing.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I feel a lot of hybrid comps, usually the best and the worst of any comp brought together, and generally never excels in any situation. But I can see the merit of this particular comp. It has a lot of options to it on how you play it.
Absolutely, and I think it mostly comes down to if Senior Health can eat the Ononate coming in from Angioto, then the entire setup for diving from Void kind of gets negated by that. Because if you don't get that anti, the sustain with the Baptiste and the immediate damage that you can do against divers with Zen just completely stops you from getting close enough.
Indeed, if Void wanting to play dive against this particular comp, it's actually quite an interesting question on who you would dive first. There is not a particularly clear, obvious dive target. I suspect it would probably be the Cassidy if you were going to call one first.
Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one because Sen is a pretty good dive target because he's easy to kill because he is very squishy. He is a glass cannon. But with the Baptiste playing with the Zen, there's just so much sustain. So then maybe the Baptiste would be the better target because Cassidy can also just roll away and he has the same sustain that Zen would have in that case, depending on positioning.
It's a very interesting conundrum indeed. How do you feel about the comp that Void are playing?
I think it is a very standard dive composition, but with the Doom kind of disrupt in the beginning. Like you kind of have to start with Doom punching someone, then you have an on-on-8, then you kind of come in with Genji and Tracer. But if just one of those aspects fail, or your timing is a little bit off, the sustain from Baptiste and the damage from Zen and the hinder from Cassidy, for that sakes, will stop you. And then you have Diva as the follow-up and Tracer with a bunch of damage as well. So the Ana of Lucio on the backline of Void is also going to struggle here.
We are just waiting to get a ringer for Void. They've had to get someone in. It doesn't look like Majdal will be able to make it, unfortunately. This will only take a few minutes, as I believe the ringer is already in the server.
Yeah, it seems to have been a power outage, which is very unlucky, and especially this late in a fight.
It's extremely unlucky, and of course disconnects. There are actually time limits in a tournament, so they'll want to get this sorted really quickly.
I think there's a 10-minute timer on it in this tournament, so it should be. But it looks like they were quick on finding a ringer, and now we're just waiting on admin to deal with the rest. I
They
don't
just
think
in the
that's going to
process
be an
of getting
issue.
the ringer rolls. It's not going to be much longer, and then we can resume.
Yeah, it looks like the ringer is in their voice chat now. Just waiting to get it confirmed.
It shouldn't be much longer. We're just about to restart.
Yeah. I think looking at like since Void lost their hit scan because of the ping or the disconnect with Magel's character running off the map after that. I think this is going to be really hard for Void to win, and I think they would probably have to focus on winning the next stage of Lijiang.
Yeah, we're just about to restart the lobby now, and the timer is restarted. So Void, I have to play that without either DPS in the fight. Machu goes down extremely quickly, and as you suggested, this looks like it will indeed go to Turquoise Wisps.
Yeah, and hopefully Void can. Whirlwind doing some good plays there, but sadly not enough. And yeah, hopefully Void can recover from this and still play at a competitive level on Control Center.
Void are a very experienced team. I think in terms of brushing themselves down and just resetting, they will definitely have the experience to know how to deal with that and just get on with it.
Absolutely. And it looks like we're going into a role composition from both teams here. With
Role
Hate
compositions
on
are pretty
the...
standard on Control Center. We often see a Junkrat. It would be interesting to see if we get that on either side. Hattie looks like they're going for the Hanzo, which is a perfectly viable pick because of the narrow corridors.
Yeah, but also very unusual on this map specifically. Because of said corridors as well. Hanzo likes long sightlines.
Whirlwind going for the Junkrat bay. It's rare we don't see a Junkrat on Control Center. Both Ram Shields come out quite early. Machu decides to pop Ramatra's form there and just backs off. Has to concede a little space.
Yeah, and I think this is the... well, that's a good early pick there.
Of course, it would be very difficult for Void to win that team fight now after one pick. Statistically, team fights are usually won after one single pick, and they go down one by one, and that is some really quite clean play by Turquoise Wisps. They have definitely found their footing now, I feel.
Absolutely. When that pick was happening, I was about to say the upside of having Junkrat is that you can take space more cleanly, and it's kind of hard when you're playing the Hanzo because you need some space to hit shots. But as soon as you win a fight, you get that space.
Both Ramatras now brawling it out. Window is popped on the side of Turquoise Wisps, and a massive amount of damage immediately rushes through from the window. Void are left with no choice, and they have to kite that.
See if the tire gets any about. That's a big pick by Turquoise and Yara there.
Once again, the Zen getting huge value. It's not a very common choice we see in a brawl comp with the Ramatra.
Yeah, it seems like Turquoise is very fond of these kind of hybrid compositions because now they're playing like a poke brawl kind of composition with the Hanzo and Sen with the long range sightlines, and Cassidy for the mid range, and then your brawl front line with the Ramatra.
Ordinarily, I would think that the Ramatra would actually suffer not having the Lucio speed, but that doesn't seem to be hindering them at all.
No, it looks like they're using the Ramatra E ability, the hold down ability.
The form, yeah.
Yeah, to create space with that and slowing down the enemy instead of speeding into the enemy.
It's a very interesting playstyle that we haven't really seen that much of. Be interesting to see if they do that on other maps as well.
Absolutely. And I do find it very, very impressive that they're managing on this map to make use of that. Ooh.
It's a nice headshot there, finding Whirlwind, and Whirlwind does go down. At the moment, the point control is with Turquoise Wisps, but picks now flooding in on side of Void, and they will retake that after making the Rhine switch and the Mei switch.
Yeah, and the Mei switch is really good here with the Ashe because now Void has a decent poke as well. Like May's right clicks are really good for poke. And Ashe is probably the best hit scan at the moment.
It's really impressive that we see them make the change so concise and so so quickly, and they didn't delay in making that switch. They knew exactly what they wanted to do.
Absolutely. And now they're going in with the Transcendence together with Ramatra's ultimate to just burn down the enemies. And that's an easy fight win for them.
Yeah, Senior held on Ramatra there finds quite a few picks with the Annihilation. Very effective use of it. Senior held's pacing of Ramatra is actually very, very disciplined and very impressive. Unfortunately, that is a win for Turquoise Wisps. Very well done indeed. That was actually a very close fight indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they're doing really well in this kind of hybrid composition, and they're forcing Void to make changes that I don't think they're that comfortable with.
Exactly. Void definitely will want to analyze what happened there and have a talk amongst themselves to just have a quick discussion how they can deal with Turquoise Wisps and what changes they can make to their playstyle.
Yeah, and also it needs to be mentioned that having to get a ringer in mid-map is probably the worst timing for that. So it's really hard, especially if they haven't played with that ringer before. That is a very stressful situation to like adapt to a new playstyle, both for the team and for the ringer, and to build a little bit of synergy. So hopefully
Absolutely.
now they have a couple of minutes to talk, choose a map, and talk about the playstyle and how they want to do this.
It's not a situation I would ever like to see in a team I'm playing in where we have to take a ringer during the middle of a tournament match. It will indeed have really disrupted their flow. It will have disrupted their synergy. They will really want to sit down and think what they can do to compensate.
Absolutely. And I think now, since it is Void's map pick, they can pick between Eichenwald and Parisio for hybrid. And I think now they just have to talk with their ringer, figure out like what are their strengths, weaknesses, how can we adapt to the situation we're in to manage to beat out Turquoise Wisp.
For the ringer as well, that's a lot of pressure to perform like this on a high-level tournament match on the day. It must be extremely stressful for them.
Absolutely. Like the stress on Void alone is probably high, but the stress of the ringer coming in with expectations, especially considering how good of a team Void is in this tournament, that has to be that has to be stressful. And it looks like they're picking Eichenwald.
Eichenwald becoming a bit of a favorite of this tournament so far.
Yeah, I thought about it earlier. I think Lupine is the only team that hasn't picked Eichenwald so far.
I think Eichenwald is a very attractive map to many teams. As mentioned before, there are a very wide array of playstyles and comps viable, especially on first point.
Yeah, both first and second point, like most comps are viable on both of those. It just comes down to like what your team can play and how quick your rotations are, especially on attack. Like you can dive, you can brawl on attack, and on defense you can dive and brawl or poke. So it's there's a lot of room for adaptations and trying stuff on this map, but you have to be quick about it if you're playing brawl on attack. We saw that a bit yesterday, where I don't remember which team it was, but they were choosing a Ramatra brawl on attack, and when they were trying to rush in, they get poked out on the rotation to castle, and that is a difficult thing to overcome in that kind of situation.
We are now going into the map here. We will shortly see what different comps that the teams go for. I wonder if we will see more Zen here on Void. Sorry, my apologies, not Void. Turquoise Wisp.
Yeah, it does seem like Turquoise Wisps really favor the Sunyata and the long sidelines. Also with Hate going the Hanzo on control center.
There are certainly
We
some
have
very long sightlines on this map that Zen can utilize quite effectively. It looks like they're playing a Sigma-based poke comp, indeed, with the Zen and with the Hanzo. That is a very viable comp. It will be interesting to see what they do. Void appear to be rolling out on a dive comp. Again, perfectly viable. But Turquoise Wisps will definitely want to watch out because they are particularly weak to dive.
absolutely, and it kind of comes down to Void's timings here. If they can pull off their dives with perfect timing, this is going to be really hard for Turquoise. But if Void makes any mistakes, I think Turquoise can easily make use of that with how they've been playing so far.
And both teams now rolling out. Void are now approaching the first team fight as they come out from spawn. Sig's shield is committed and almost goes down and almost gets broken. Void are pushing in already, but Machu looking a bit vulnerable there, losing armor really quickly.
Yeah, and I think if he goes in and gets discorded, he's gonna burn down super quick, especially if he doesn't have bubble.
Both teams just looking to poke here. Unfortunately, Whirlwind goes down to, I think that was a volley from Zen, and that was, oh, and some really, really sharp shots there from NSX on the Ash. Really crisp, really nice.
Yeah, that is really good. And the Turquoise Zen managing to take off Whirlwind as well is just, it's impressive Zen play from a Zen player like me.
Angie Otter
Like,
finding the pick on the
for a
Zen
Zen
there,
player
that's a
like
huge
me.
pick.
And
Void
is
making
like
a push onto point now.
Yeah, this is one of the harder parts of playing poke, is that recontesting the point, especially first point. Here,
It's
is really
Void
hard.
taking a lot of space here as Machu pushes forwards very aggressively indeed, losing the armor really quickly, but has the bubble available. Almost goes down for it, but that's a huge amount of space made. Very, very almost dying for it, but huge value.
Yeah, unlucky Days Rock not playing on the same pace as Macho there, getting caught out by the Sigma. So now Void has to play a bit slower on their rotations and their dives here.
Turquoise Wisps now have taken a very controlling position on top of the castle. Now Void engaged though with the Nano Monkey, which is always a massively powerful play to engage, but doesn't really find all that much value from it. And Machu even dies for it. That's really unfortunate because that's 2 ultimates committed and not really to any value.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the dive mistakes that I mentioned earlier, because Machu goes in so early with the Nano there that Whirlwind can't keep up. Like, Whirlwind isn't in there before Machu already has been forced into Primal.
Whirlwind almost dying there. Very low indeed, but manages to get out safely. Both teams coming up on a large array of ultimates. However, Turquoise Wisps do have more ultimates at their disposal. They have all 5, and it'd be interesting to see which they decide to combo.
Yeah, and the good thing for Turquoise here is that they have that Transcendence, which is a panic button. If you get pressured by any of Void's ultimates, you can just use that and then live through difficult fights.
Turquoise Wisps there, pincering Void really nicely in the middle of Castle with the Sig coming round and committing the Flux, making it really difficult for Void to find any footing and sees them off really nicely indeed. The Ash from NSX almost takes out Machu, very almost. This is looking very clean indeed from Turquoise Wisps.
Yeah, the downside is this is that even though Turquoise won this this fight, well, is that a Nano Lucio?
Oh no, that's the Boostio there. That's really unfortunate. That was probably aimed for the Genji, I would imagine. They do go in with a beat engage. Bob is committed on side of Void. Picks coming out on both sides, but again, Turquoise Wisps coming up slightly ahead.
And they're committing Blade here still. Ooh.
That's a really nice shot there. Whirlwind
how they
goes
hit
down
on
to a
that.
headshot.
That is a really nice headshot. I think if Void had played that a bit more patiently, considering Turquoise had to use 4 ultimates to win the previous fight. If they played a bit more patiently and layered their ultimates a bit better, and of course hitting the Genji instead of the Lucio with the nano, I think that would have been an easier fight.
That almost looked like quite sloppy coordination on the side of Void, which is not something I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, it does seem like they're struggling a bit with the having to have a ringer here.
Hicks again coming in on both sides. It's more or less even again. Not very clean. However, Hicks still coming in on side of Void. Void might actually capture this. They just really need to take the Zen, and the point will be theirs.
Yeah, the Zen and the Hanzo contesting here is it's a lot of damage, but they are very squishy, and they fall.
Yeah, Void now take that quite convincingly. Both teams now looking a little empty on the ult economy, but Turquoise Wisps definitely has the upper hand here. They almost have Flux, they almost have Bob, and they still have Dragons. Nothing really on the side of Void except Rush, which will be coming up shortly.
Yeah, and I think on this point specifically, playing poke might be a bit advantageous because it resembles Brawl more than Dive does in this scenario, and Brawl is very strong on this point of the map.
This is almost certainly the more the weaker of the points, certainly to play a dive comp into. It would be interesting to see if Void actually will use this opportunity to switch, especially now they're not particularly up on the ult economy, so there's not much to lose from doing that.
Absolutely, and they Void are committing here.
Picks coming in both sides, although the picks are starting to come in Void's favor, although it's still kind of chaos here, and players from both teams are going down. Void does win that team fight, though.
Absolutely, and I think Hata getting an exit kill like that is going to be advantageous for Turquoise, because now they have more players coming out of the respawn, and I think this fight could work out for them.
Turquoise Wisps making the switch there to a D.Va. Not entirely sure why you would make that switch right now, but it does seem to be working for them, and they see Void off quite convincingly.
Yeah, I think the D.Va pick is mostly because you don't have to dive very deep when it comes to the defense on this point, because like you have to move up so far to be able to dive in, and I think it's a very good way of denying Machu's space here.
Just 50 seconds left on the clock. If Void are wanting to take this point, they're going to have to show something a bit more convincing. They do have Blade, they do have Bob, and they do have Beat. It'll be interesting to see how it comes out. Oh, that's a massive deflect kill there from Whirlwind. Void really need to press this now to take advantage of that. They'll be wanting to start commit ults now.
Yeah, the D.Va to buy some space there, because I think if Whirlwind committed Blade after the Zen dying there, they would have had an easier chance, but now the Transcendence is back into play.
We see Bob, Blade, and Beat come out there, pushing Void. Sorry, they're pushing Turquoise Wisps back into spawn. Huge volleys coming in from the Zen there. That's a massive amount of damage. Machu attempts to primal the Zen, but nothing comes of that, and we get picks on the side of Void, and they finally capture the point with no time to spare.
Yeah, I think at the end there, Turquoise comps are probably close to like push it to overtime, push it to overtime, because then they know if they have a good attack, they cannot lose this map.
It'll be interesting to see how Turquoise Wisps respond from that. The pacing from Void was a little shaky at times, not as convincing as we've seen in the past. It'll be interesting to see if Turquoise Wisps recognize this themselves and make a switch to capitalize on it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Turquoise is running on attack here, because they have been playing some sort of poke on every map so far. And it's going to be interesting if they keep that on attack. And it looks like they are keeping the Sanyana. And I think it's because, looking at the team information, it looks like their Zen is a top 100 Zen player one trick.
Zen is indeed a very powerful hero to master if you can get used to the travel time of the primary fight. He is most certainly an extremely valuable and dangerous support.
Absolutely, that Discord is not something to be trifled with, and I've known many a tank players that has been very frustrated with Discord over the years.
We see BAP in this dive composition, which is an interesting choice. I suspect that's to sustain the Zen.
Absolutely, that would be my prediction as well. And the good thing with BAP against dive is that BAP does a surprising a lot of damage towards a monkey. If you Discord monkey and then you burn him with BAP, that's hard to play into.
Void are playing Kiri Iliari, which is an interesting backline choice. Reasoning behind that. The dives coming in from Turquoise Wisps is actually proving quite effective. Whirlwind goes down, the Iliari goes down, picks found, and that was actually quite convincing. That again, as I mentioned in previous team fights, that the pacing of Turquoise Wisps is looking really solid now.
Absolutely, and I think the Ilari pick is a bit of a mistake. Yeah, now they realize that they have to make some changes for second point. So they're opting for a brawl with a tracer, which I think is good. Because you have that tracer to deny the enemy tracer and follow up on brawl engages.
Whirlwind goes down to senior held Diva, which is massive, but Machu finding the pick on the Zen, which is huge value for them considering the damage that this particular Zenyatta is doing. Picks now flowing in on side of Turquoise Wisps, though.
Yeah, that was Machu trying to make some space, walk into the enemy backline, finishes off the Zen, but cannot finish off the Echo there. And yeah, with the early picks from Turquoise there's nothing Void can do.
I think Void certainly need to assess the situation, and I think they need to realize that their carry on the side of Turquoise Wisps is their Zen, and they need to address that and dive the Zen.
And I think they just did that by putting a pulse bomb onto the Zen early in the fight, and then yeah, just cleaning up after that.
Now that Void have made the switches, so that's a massive pulse there from NSX, finding Whirlwind. And now it looks like everyone is hard focusing Turquoise Wisps Zen player, which is hardly surprising. And I think Turquoise Wisps will now have to adapt their playstyle and recognize that this is happening.
Absolutely, maybe the Zen and the Butties need to play a bit closer to each other. Because it seems like every time the Diva goes in, the Zen gets dove or rushed from the other side.
We see copy committed here now on side of Turquoise Wisps. We're also seeing a lot of chaos here as Diva is finding multiple picks. 3 picks there from senior held. Very, very, very decisive indeed. Whirlwind going down. This Diva play is extremely dangerous and very lethal.
Yeah, and I think we're talking a lot about the Zen, and I think this fight was also a very good example of how well the Zen is being used here. Because they layer Zen's Transcendence with aggressive ultimates to push in and play their brawl style or their dive style aggressively but safe.
Turquoise Wisps are certainly looking much stronger than they did on Lijiang Tower. I'm very impressed with what we're seeing so far. Void will definitely need to step things up if they're hoping to win this match.
Absolutely, and I think Machu goes down to the Discord again.
That Discord is definitely very nasty. If it's timed correctly and applied at the correct time, the entire team just focus everything onto them, and the tank just goes down.
Yeah, now I see the Desperation Touch ball play, which seems to be working out.
Whirlwind going down again to a pulse. Machu has switched the ball, finding picks and holding the point quite successfully so far. Turquoise Wisp will not cap at that point, but Void definitely looking a bit ropey.
Yeah, and I think now Void is at a bigger disadvantage because now they have a ball in a brawl comp kind of thing. They also don't have a lot of sustain with the Ilaria Lucio backline.
The Illari is definitely a very unorthodox pick. I don't entirely understand the value of that.
I think they swapped ball to touch and then didn't have time to go back. If anything,
We
it's
see a contest here.
yeah, and then Transcendence coming in aggressively again. Ooh,
Some
Octane being
huge
clutch.
picks there. That's some extremely nice shots coming in there. Picks on both sides. Senior held though, finding multiple targets.
yeah, that's the second point capture. And now that the turquoise wisps are going to have to play a bit aggressive here because their goal is going to be to capture this point before the 1 minute mark, so they cannot lose this map.
Matthew making the switch to Sigma there, which is probably a very wise choice considering what the enemy team are playing.
Yeah, and Senior held very unlucky there with the bomb getting caught on a pillar.
We are seeing pressure coming here from Turquoise Wisps as they try to push through this choke, but this can be a very difficult choke to push through because it's very easy to concentrate spam straight down the middle.
Yeah, and especially now when you have a bit of a Ramatra brawl defense, it's very hard to move in because of the rocks, and that's a huge eat.
We see Transcendence come out there on the side of Turquoise Wisps. We are seeing picks on both sides, keeping the fight relatively even. Beat is committed to keep Void in the fight. They would have most likely gone down without it. But picks still coming in on the side of Turquoise Wisps, looking very decisive here. But card progress is quite slow. They'll not want to rush this because they only got perhaps 3 more team fights.
Yeah, and they lost a lot of people in that fight, so they have to back out a little bit. Make sure they regroup before going back in.
Some big ultimates are now coming up on the side of Void. They have Flux. They will have Blizzard very soon indeed. We'll see how that progresses. Whirlwind does destroy the copy, which doesn't really find much value.
And now we just need to hope that the Blizzard doesn't get eaten here.
That's a
Senior held-
really nice right back there, and NSX goes down to that. And huge picks on the side of Void, holding Turquoise Wisps back. Lots of ultimates committed for it, though.
Yeah, now it's looking very winnable for Void here. They only need to win one more fight decisively, especially now with these late staggers.
Really solid right clicks there coming from the May, who I believe is the ringer for Void.
Absolutely, and I think if this Blizzard goes off, this is... yeah, we're going to third map, probably. Oh, they see because of the Sonic, that's huge.
Looking for a potential flank Blizzard there, but as we saw, denied from the Sonic Arrow.
Yeah, and Turquoise has to keep their Sen alive here so that he gets Blizzard.
That's a massive Blizzard there on the side of Void. That very convincingly wins the team fight with just the one ultimate, and
they cannot touch.
They cannot touch. Void wins that map, and we go to third map.
Yeah, it is a bit more scrappy than we're used to seeing from Void, but they managed to make those small adaptations and hold third point.
Well, as we were saying before, having the ringer on the day of a tournament, not knowing how that will work and of the effect that will have on the team morale and nation, it's really impressive that they do seem to be starting to find their footing and compensating and working out what they need to be doing.
Yeah, they are also, as you said, realizing that Zenyatta is a big threat, and I feel like up until like the first half of second point, they were struggling against it, but now it looks like they've figured out how to deal with it, at least to some regard.
It's certainly adapting to the circumstances is what separates a really good team from a mediocre team, and especially at this level of play, it's an absolutely essential skill to be able to do that in game, to just take a minute to analyze what's happening and see what changes are needed.
Absolutely, and it's going to be interesting to see what map pick we're getting. It looks like we're getting Colosseo, so third and last map is going to be a bush map.
I believe this is the first time we've seen Colosseo in the tournament so far.
Yeah, I think so, but it very much plays into the strength of Turquoise Wisps from what we've been seeing so far. Like having the Zenyatta with the long sightlines of Coloseo is gonna be potentially really good. And it's gonna be interesting to see how Void adapt to that.
Void will most certainly want to just take a minute to consider how they will actually take that information and make changes to the gameplay. Definitely, it is a very strong point for a skilled Zenyatta player. Very long sight lines, potentially huge amounts of spam damage coming down those sight lines. Void will definitely want to consider how they want to play. Do they want to take picks that are better at mitigating damage, perhaps a Sigma or a Diva, or will they want to change their playstyle and watch their path in to avoid the spam?
Yeah, they kind of have three options considering the play style of Turquoise Wisps. They either have to basically just match the poke, just get out the if they have a really good Widowmaker, if they have a ringer on his scan, so that might be a bit difficult. But Widowmaker also very good on this map. And they can do that, just play poke v poke, go for those picks. They can do like really quick brawl rotations as well. Brawl is like there are long sidelines, but the map is relatively flat on most of it, except for if like just around when you exit the Colosseum building. Or you could do a really quick dive, and I think that's what Void needs to do here in general is to be quicker. They have to have that good synergy, but they also need to have speed to be able to deal with the poke of Turquoise Wisps.
I think for Void, I personally think their two most viable options are the dive and the double sniper. I think considering what we've seen so far, I think that would serve Void the best. I'd be interested to see what they take.
Yeah, because if they go for a brawl, if they go Ramatra is not that very good against poke in general because you don't have that shield for very long, which means you have to be even quicker. If you are playing Rhine Brawl, you can make it with the shield, but then you have to be again really quick and commit really hard. Because if you start rotating into a poke like this with a brawl composition and you're not making it before your shield falls, the poke damage is just gonna destroy you.
Of course, on the flip side, Turquoise Wisps will be wanting to look at ways they can enable their team as well. Having a very strong Zenyatta player, I wouldn't be surprised if they'll be wanting to play poke themselves.
Absolutely, I would be surprised if we don't see poke from Turquoise, based on what we've been seeing so far, and I would be expecting to see the Sigma here, and it looks like they are going for the Sigma, the Ash. It's looking like a classic poke from the side of Turquoise Wisps here.
Void look like they're going to roll out on a slightly unorthodox poke variation, but poke nonetheless.
Yeah, they're going for a more modern style of poke where you have the tracer in addition to a poke hit scan. But with the Lucio, that's weird.
Of course, they will have more engage now and be able to close the distance really quite fast having the Lucio, and Tracer will enable them to close the distance by causing a distraction from the side.
Absolutely, but you're missing out on a lot of potential poke pick damage by doing that. So you have to be very quick on getting into the enemy here.
Turquoise Wisps, on the other hand, play in a more classic double sniper comp with the Ash instead of the Widow. They'll want to play quite slow and methodical.
Absolutely, but I think also they're gonna be forced to playing quick. And it's gonna be a lot down to just aim mechanics if they can pull this off.
Yes, of course, poke is a very, very aim-heavy comp that really requires a lot of mechanical skill to pull off correctly.
Yeah, and it looks like Macho gets isolated there, which is unlucky because now Turquoise can push pretty far for free.
Yes, indeed. Turquoise Wisps making good progress here. Once Machu has gone down, there isn't much ability for Void to hold any sort of space, so they're forced to concede to this high ground.
Yep, and it is looking like they're playing a very brawl pokey position here from Void with now the Mei.
Yes, the May is certainly an interesting pick that turns it into more sort of a Sig Brawl comp than an actual poke comp.
Yeah, but it is pretty good at making it possible for Void to getting close against these snipers.
Really nice Transcendence comes out there just in time. Ash is also committing Bob into that fight, but almost goes down. Progress is very slow here, with picks not really coming in very often. Twitch Relic, though, does go down to Machu. Whirlwind finding a pick with the Bob. That's really big, and that will be a one-team fight for Void. They did require to commit the Bob, though, just to win the team fight, which is not looking good for them in the long term.
Yeah, but they didn't commit too much considering what Turquoise committed for the same fight. So I think they will be fine. The thing is that they have to keep doing what they're doing. They have to make sure to make use of Machu's very aggressive tank playstyle here. Because as you see now, like Machu is behind the enemy tank for times of this.
Machu is very definitely a very aggressive tank player, and I think what we saw on Eichenwald was actually not serving him very well, because we found Machu getting themselves into danger quite often.
Absolutely, but I think they adapted fairly okay to it. Ooh, Zenyatta getting out a pick on the Ashe here.
Yes, we're seeing quite frequent picks from Zenyatta from volleys, and now the melee, which is showing up on the kill feed. So, as expected, the Zen is getting very, very big value here. Machu is trapped in this room, and they're just bullied, and they body block them, and they hold them in there, and then just finish them off.
Yeah, and that's the downside of the playstyle that Machu has to play here, is that he has to be aggressive, but it opens up for exactly this, to being caught in a room when playing aggressive and then getting finished off. Especially considering the enemy Sen got like 3 picks in that fight.
A very effective wall there, but again, huge picks coming through on the side of Turquoise Wisps with that Zen, finding huge value. The May Blizzard does come out forcing a Transcendence. There's a lot of damage coming in, but the Transcendence keeps it up. Right, nice aggressive positioning here on Ash for Whirlwind. Allows Void to just push a bit further forward by taking that high ground flank.
Absolutely, and it makes it possible for Machu to come back from spawn, just creating space for that Blizzard. Opening up for Void actually being able to take a good fight there. And they get out Transcendence before...
I think Void are definitely finding their footing now. Their pacing has become a lot better. I think they're discovering how they need to play against this.
Yeah, and getting out the Transcendence before... and still keeping Sigma's ultimate is pretty good. Oh!
Machu unfortunately dying there while using Flux. That's really unfortunate. Definitely too greedy. Wanted to follow up the kills with the Flux and press Q while low health, which is always a death sentence.
Yeah, it shows a bit like a hint of desperation, I feel. Ooh, that's
yeah,
a good headshot.
That was a nice headshot. Of course, before the nerf, that would have been a kill. But Ash still goes down. Really nice shots there. Really nice flank as well, going up on the high ground.
Yeah, and we see maybe a bit of the issue with having a ringer there, because communication wasn't good enough for the main to realize that there's a Hanzo behind us.
Communication is absolutely one of the most important things when we talk about synergy in a team.
Absolutely, and especially when it comes to dealing with flankers, it's so important to know when someone's behind you, because if you don't, you just get headshot and killed.
Picks coming in on both sides. We've seen team fights getting extremely scrappy now.
Yeah, but it looks like Turquoise capped the point there, which means they get forward spawns, which means they can play more aggressive. Hard to get caught out though.
Whirlwind finding a huge pick there that's going to really work in the favor of Void at this point. Matcha again using very aggressive positioning, pushing very far forward.
Yeah, which he kind of has to. But now, like, there's a contest. Oh, that's a really far forward window.
That window will actually be able to take an extremely large amount of space because it will force. That's a massive headshot there through the window. Whirlwind again, fantastic shot. That Hanzo goes straight down for that.
Absolutely, and even through Transcendence, that's really impressive.
Transcendence provides, I believe, 300 heal a second to other targets. So you're above that threshold, you still go down.
Absolutely, and with the DPS passive reducing healing, that's a big factor there as well.
Turquoise Wisps will want to be a bit careful now. That's a huge pick, though. NSX winning the Ash duel. Unfortunately, that's Flux cancelled. That's really bad that Machu has now had 2 Fluxes in a row and not find any value.
Yeah, he is getting picks, but I think it's a little bit too late. They are forcing Turquoise to commit ultimates to this fight, though.
Senior Hell gets stunned there, but returns with a rock of their own. NSX finding Angie Otter. Machu then going down. This is an extremely close match. I think Turquoise Wisps will want to play quite slow here. I feel that positioning mistakes will get very heavily punished by either team.
Absolutely, and if you look at the meters progress there, it's also 100% equal right now. Which means this is a very close fight, or a very close match.
We are down to 1 minute 30, so we are looking at likely 2 or 3 team fights at most. That's a huge
coming
blow from Whirlwind, though, finding massive value. Senior Hell goes down, and that's a team fight win for Void, pushing the bot back again, and once again keeping this match extremely even.
Yeah, and that stagger on the send, I think, is gonna put Void in the lead here, and we are moving into last fight territory here.
Yeah, mere seconds left on the clock as we're approaching 55 seconds. Not much opportunity for Turquoise Wisps to win this map. They're going to have to be very careful here. An early pick will absolutely spell doom for them.
Yeah, I think they have to win 2 or 3 fights now to be able to win this map. Void is coming up on Blizzard.
It's a massive blizzard finding and freezing Turquoise Wisp's Sigma, and that's a big wall that follows it. This is looking potentially. But we find 2 strong picks coming in from Turquoise Wisps, and it looks like Void will actually lose this team fight. However, Turquoise Wisps will have no choice but to push the cart all the way back to the other side to potentially win the map. So Void will at least get another fight.
Yeah, and this is one of those, like, they cannot leave the cart now, so they have to play together a bit more, which is disadvantage in a poke composition because you want those angles.
Void taking a very controlling position there with the Ash on the high ground, looking to spam in some quite substantial damage. Machu goes in quite deep, almost into the enemy team. Senior Hell goes down, though, and that's 2 picks now on the side of Void. Window committed by the back for Void, and it looks like Void will win that team fight.
It looks like Void is taking this match 2-1, but it was not easy for them.
It was not easy at all.
Absolutely a competitive match, and I do like to see that. And it would have been interesting to see if it would have stayed as competitive as Void didn't have to go the ring around here. Yeah, this is what I mentioned with that communication.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that wasn't called. I feel the Ash would almost certainly have turned around if it was called.
Well, the Ash got headshot and then left, and then didn't tell the May. So that was a weird one.
Very, very, very solid on the side of Turquoise Wisps as well. Very solid on the side of Void. That was extremely good quality gameplay on both sides.
Absolutely. And I think based on what we've seen so far, what is this? Do we have the standings? So I think Void is very much in the upper echelon of the tournament so far.
Absolutely. We've also seen some very strong showings from Kasa Harbingers, and I'm very much looking forward to when Void play Kasa Harbingers. I believe that will be a very interesting match indeed.
Absolutely. That matchup is probably going to be close to the to being the what the finals will look like as well.
And we now have the standings on screen for us so we can have a look.
Yep. On the first map of the day, UK and Lupine winning over Kasa Hivemind 2-1.
Yeah, second match of the day was that was Harbingers versus Minges, I believe, with Harbingers taking that quite convincingly.
Yep. And of course, the last match was the one we just watched with Void versus Turquoise Wisps. Being a very, very even and very fun match to watch. Going 2-1.
I think it's exceptionally important that we point out that there has been a change to the divisions. Minges were unfortunately accidentally placed in the incorrect division. They should have been playing in the upper division. They have now been moved to the upper division. So if there's any confusion there, this was a mistake made by the staff. It has been corrected. All teams will have equal opportunity to play equal numbers of matches, but now the upper division has an extra team, essentially.
Yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see how Minges does when they've adapted to their new division.
Of course, next matches will take place Saturday next week, and we will also have matches on the Sunday. Thank you very, very much, ladies, gentlemen, everything in between, for joining us. We hope you have a fantastic Sunday wherever you are, and we will see you really soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
It'd be so cruel if I didn't let my body move. But just wait till tomorrow. It'd be so cruel if I didn't let my body move. Body move. It'd be so cruel if I didn't let my body move. Body move. It'd be so cruel if I didn't let my body move.
Your customers expect to buy what they want, how they want. So you need a commerce platform that's flexible, customizable, and crazy fast. Shopify Plus is built to handle the complexity of your business, so you can focus on your brand and deliver a seamless customer experience across every device, country, and channel. Save time by turning manual tasks into powerful automated workflows. Target key markets with local currencies and unlimited storefronts. Increase conversion with personalized shopping and checkout experiences. And sell out in seconds, knowing we won't hold you back. Partner with the best commerce platform.